If you've ever been tired of sitting around waiting for a data print, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks, and welcome back. Happy Thursday. It is time for another episode of Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook. It is Thursday, February 13th, the day before Valentine's Day. Hope you all folks are ready. We got a lot to cover. Had some huge earnings yesterday. App lovin', McLovin, whatever you call it. Well, the only direction that stock knows is up. And Bros, the coffee stock, the sugary coffee stock, going absolutely ham. We're going to break it all down. It's great to see everyone here this morning. Let's roll. Good morning, folks, and welcome back. Hope you all had a wonderful rest of your hump day and a wonderful Wednesday evening. It is Thursday now, and it's time to get back at it. Let me welcome everybody back. Asar, great to see you. Welcome back. Svarsi, Marcy, welcome back. HD Hoods, welcome back. Okay, your stock, Hood, went crazy today. We'll talk about that. Paul, it's great to see you as always. Good morning. Reaching financial freedom. Yes, please. Good morning. Welcome back. Sun-kissed Yogi, welcome back. Peter, good to see you as always. Philip, hi from Perth, Australia. All right, we have someone from the future joining us today. How's the weather in Perth there? Thanks for joining us. Good. What is it? The evening for you, probably? Anyway, thanks for joining us. Chuck, good morning. I can't pronounce this person's name. Tokazani? I tried. Good morning. Welcome back, Jane. It's good to see you. Hugh, it's good to see you. Marcus Aurelius Energy. Sure, we can take a look at Starbucks here today, especially on the back of the Bros earnings report, which we're definitely going to break down. Can't wait to hear what you guys think about that. That company is absolutely crushing it. Bernhard, welcome back. Robert, welcome back. Conditionally Accepted, welcome back. Shadow of One, welcome back. Toronto in one day. Welcome back. Day Trader, good to see you as always. What do you got on the docket here, Day Trader? What are you, what kind of setups are you looking for? What are you looking to trade today? Drew, good morning. Great to see you. Keep smiling. Good morning. Welcome back. World for Everyone, good morning. ATL Russ, holding it down in the Dirty South. Good morning, boss. Bobby, welcome back. Hellcat, welcome back. Lou, Yassine, Bill, welcome back. JJ, Trailing Paw, Harris, Austin, Ken, Magma, welcome back. 3D, Buenos Dias, good morning, welcome back. Florida Yacht Insurance Guy, welcome back. And Edwin, welcome back. All right, we got a full house here today. The early birds are in, and we are ready to rock. Let me go ahead and bring up the SPY. I'll be honest, there's not really a whole lot to cover. We will take a quick look, and I know we had the CPI print yesterday. First of all, congrats all around to the chat, because 55% of you probably had a pretty good day yesterday, as you recognized that yesterday was simply a buy the dip opportunity, and boy, was it ever. We'll start here on the daily chart. SPY, of course, right when we got that print, sold off right down to the 50-day. That 50-day here is at 598.71. If we look inside here, you can see we actually traded beneath it and then very quickly recaptured it. By the time the market opened, the SPY was already on its way back up, and sans a couple of pullbacks on the way back up, we finished at near balance near the end of the day. So we pulled beneath the 50, and to me, the bullish part of this is that we had some data come out. It spooked the market. It shocked the market. We sold down to a support level. We recaptured that support level in very short order. And then on the way back up, we recaptured another level at that 20-day moving average, 602.31. So today, futures are kind of flattish here. S&P futures are down just about 0.1%, down 0.07%. The Dow is even, literally even, and the NASDAQ is up 0.05%. So we are pretty much flat here today. And to me, it really seems like the market wants to get this PPI print out of the way, and then we'll see where we go. So does the PPI print confirm what we got yesterday? Does it tell any type of a different picture? We shall see. And we'll see how the market actually reacts to that. But just kind of looking here, I know we did technically trade outside of the range of Friday's candle. That low there was 600. Obviously, we're in the 598, but we didn't close beneath that candle. So I'd be curious to know still, you can see we're pretty much right at the midpoint of it. I'm curious to see if we actually break out the top of that or if we break down from the bottom of that candle and then get a close at that level. So that's going to be one of the things that I'm watching here today on the SPY. Obviously, I'm going to watch how the SPY reacts to the PPI. And if we get an outsized move and we might be able to day trade that move, I am not opposed to looking at that either. So as far as the market goes here, we're set for a mixed start, I'd say, pretty much unch right here. Following a higher inflation print, experts say earnings remain strong despite uncertainty. And boy, do some of them ever remain strong. We're going to take a look at a couple of those today. Allsorts, Beacon. Can we look at Crocs? Yes, absolutely. That's actually one of the stocks that did have really good results. Shout out to Jay Rice, who's probably not here yet. He's been all over Crocs for as long as I've known him, almost 2 years at this point. So actually, I think I've known him longer than that. Regardless, Crocs has been one of his great trades. Hopefully, he's still banking off that. Yes, we can absolutely take a look at that. One quick note that I wanted to do, or that I wanted to give you here, comes from Louis Navalier. I know Tim Melvin talks about Louis Navalier all the time, longtime market veteran. Louis Navalier of Navalier and Associates said that investors should not expect immediate action from the Federal Reserve, as the central bank is likely to remain on the sidelines until there's more clarity on which proposals will be enacted. Now, one of the things that my takeaway from yesterday's print, and obviously things can change as we get more and more data in here, my thought is we probably won't have any rate cuts this year. I know coming into this year, the base case was 2. Sure seemed like it didn't take more than a month for that consensus to kind of slip to maybe 1. We had talked early in the year about the cut maybe coming in June. Now it looks like that might be getting pushed out till November or around there. That to me seems like inflation is not completely under control. And Powell's been telling us higher for longer, need to maintain a restrictive policy. So to me, I wouldn't even be shocked. Now, I will say in happy hour yesterday, one of the gentlemen has a network of central bank watchers and Fed watchers. All these people do is focus on every single word that these folks say. And he said that not only are we looking at less cuts, but there's also a possibility of hikes in the future being built into that model. I don't think the market is ready for that at all. And I think if it starts to sniff that out, that could be one of the catalysts to move down. We'll see. I've thought there should be catalysts to move down for over a year at this point, and it really has not materialized. So we'll see if that is the case. But man, oh man, what a change. So we'll see what we get there. We'll see what the PPI says here today. That should set us up for more trading action here today. Okay, I do want to share with you the PPI preview just as kind of a primer. I'll go ahead and throw that in chat. Looks like producer. Oh, that was the first article. Okay, great. So we actually have 2 articles here for you to get prepared for that. But let's flip over to this. Producer inflation preview. Why is Fed Chair Powell closely watching Thursday's wholesale prices? Okay, economists anticipate a slight easing in the headline producer inflation with a year-over-year decline from 3.3 to 3.2. On a monthly basis, PPI is expected to rise by 0.3, accelerating from December's 0.2 increase. So I know you folks are definitely want to take a look at some of those earnings stocks here today. I'm going to be curious to see if some of those companies that reported good earnings, how they actually trade after we get this print in either direction, right? If the market trades up, do those stocks, some of which are up 25+%, I mean, I think Bros was up 30%. Are those stocks going to make more gains? And if the number is bad, is the market going to come in? Do those stocks that have huge overnight gains represent more of a target as a regression back to the mean? Lot to figure out here. That's what we're going to do when we actually get this data. Going on here, excluding food and energy, core PPI is projected to ease from 3.5% to 3.3% year over year. However, on a monthly basis, core PPI is expected to rise by 0.3, rebounding from December's flat reading. So, okay, we'll see. We'll see what we end up getting here. Powell concluded his testimony yesterday. Just a couple of, I won't spend much time on this, but just a couple of highlights here. The Fed is in no rush to cut interest rates. We have the luxury to wait. And this is not a new thing. Powell's been saying this for a while, and now it seems like when we get some of these less than ideal data prints, he's going to kind of lean back on that, which makes sense. When asked about the inflation level that would justify rate reductions, Powell reiterated that the Fed's primary targets personal consumption expenditures inflation, which he considers a more accurate measure of inflationary trends. Tomorrow we'll get the producer's price index. We'll actually know what the PCE readings are late tomorrow, Powell said, highlighting the importance of the PPI release. So again, seems like today is all about the PPI. We have that number coming up here in about 20 minutes, and we will bring that number to you as soon as it's out. Okay, now first stock that let's go back to the actual charts here. First stock that I wanted to talk about was an earnings ripper from yesterday, and that is going to be Bros. Now, this stock is, the last time I traded this was right in here. Okay, was right in here. We actually recaptured the 200. It took a while, longer than I expected, but then it started to go, came back in, and then bang, last earnings, and then this earnings again. 2 earnings reports now has really sent this thing much, much higher. We were messing around with this when the stock was in a 30 handle. Today, it is in an 80 handle, up 24.3% here today. Dutch Bros share spiked 25% after hours. Jim Cramer says it's his favorite coffee chain is, quote, the real deal. So I don't know about what you folks think of Cramer. If you do the inverse of him, this, that, and the other, he absolutely loves Bros. And boy, he was doing those victory laps. So huge move here. Let's actually look at some of the numbers real quick. Okay, beat on the top and the bottom line. EPS of 7 beat the 2-cent estimate. Sales 342 million beat the 317 million. So those were some pretty healthy beats. The thing here was probably the guide, right? The Dutch Bros sees FY25 revenue 1.55 billion to 1.57 billion. The consensus was 1.3. So this tells investors and traders that the growth story that they have there is working as they continue to guide higher above the expected range. They've done this now more than once in a row. Actually, I believe this is the second report in a row that they've done that. And then, of course, this morning after the huge move here, we have a lot of re-ratings. TD Securities raises the price target to 89. Wedbush went to 100. So another 20 points from where we're at now. Price target raised to 70 from 51 at Piper. We're 10 points over that. Price target 90 from UBS, 95 from Baird. And obviously, like I mentioned, that 100 from Wedbush. So Bros is absolutely killing it. I'll be honest, like I'm, as someone that has really over the last several years, as someone that's made really strong, considerable efforts to remove sugar from the things that I drink. Bros is just not really appealing to me. I also, as far as I'm aware, I don't think I have one near me. Now, I definitely consider myself a coffee snob, so I'm willing to try coffee places. I don't really know about Bros. I do see the numbers. And here's the other thing. Every person I talk to that has tried Bros ends up loving it. They say it's great. I know some of the younger generation really likes it. We had a great anecdotal story yesterday from one of our happy hour members whose younger daughter is in Italy. And she said that the first thing she wants to do when she comes back is to go get a Dutch Bros coffee. That's the first thing from that they want to do when returning to the United States. So obviously, there's a huge following here. That following continues to grow at a rapid pace. CEO Christine Barone highlighted some of the company's impressive performance, noting a 35% revenue growth and system same-shop sales growth of 6.9%. Quote, "We believe our brand is resonating with customers as we delivered a 2.3% system same-shop transactional growth, the largest year-over-year increase in over 2 years." So again, the story here is not necessarily, how much money they make. It's the fact that they're growing. And I think that this company is extremely expensive. Forward PE here of 116. Just really, really expensive, but clearly has some momentum here to the upside. So what I would ask the group, What do we think? Where do we think this is going next? First of all, did any of you have this overnight? Because if you did, we'll start off with a registering here. It sounds like you're gonna have a pretty good day here today. I guess the question that I'm asking here is, do we regress back to the mean, or do we end up testing a higher area? Of course, one of the things that I'll be watching, I may trade this today, but the big trade that I'm kind of looking for, or waiting for, if you will, would be whether or not this thing forms an island. This is going to be one of your textbook ones. We are breaking into a new price area here. So how this candle today finishes, and then how the day tomorrow actually behaves, will determine if we have a swing long here, or maybe if we put in a reversal candle. If we do put in a reversal candle, obviously we have a pretty substantial gap back down, and if that fills, that could make for a pretty good trade too. So we'll see here. Momentum clearly in the positive side here on bros. Don't think that jumping in front of that train to try and short it is the best idea. We'll see what kind of trade setups we get. I'd love to hear what you folks think about this one. Paul says, I think we're getting our first bros location near me in a few months. Paul, I'd love for you to get some boots on the ground. Let me know what you think. Do you like coffee? Number one. And do you like bros coffee, and how does it stack up? Reaching financial freedom. Jim, buy a put Kramer. I like that. Conditionally accepted says he has positions in App, Bros, and Reddit. Okay, so two big winners and one loser there. You netted pretty good here today, conditionally accepted. Brandy saying, good morning. No bros on the southern Georgia coast. And this is really, so I'm glad that you mentioned that, Brandy, because again, like me, I'd have to double check to see where the closest location is, but I don't ever see them driving around. And even when I make my way out of Illinois towards Michigan in the car, I don't see them on that drive either. But here's the key takeaway on that. They're growing. Their growth story is clearly the story. It's why their price to earnings multiple really doesn't matter right now. They're absolutely executing on their growth plan. Their numbers are good. They're posting good numbers at earnings. And like you're saying, there's still significant pockets of this country that don't have access to this. So you could make the case, well, hey, if they continue to expand and they continue to execute on that expansion, and those growth numbers are extrapolated over new locations in different parts of the country, could the stock go higher? Absolutely. Absolutely it can. So I'm definitely someone in the camp that, hey, this thing's pretty extended. I mean, here we are at $80.25. The 200-day moving average is $42, right? We're almost double the 200-day moving average. But again, the story here is growth, and clearly they're doing it, and they have more room to grow into. So that will be something to watch in this particular trade going forward here. Dutch Bros, just an amazing report here. Neville is saying there's no bros in Florida. Hellcat saying Dutch Bros has always been busy here in Las Vegas. Lots of locations. That's what I hear. And that anecdotal story that I gave you about the daughter returning from Italy, that's in Arizona. So also on the West Coast there. Day Trader, the closest bros to me is 3 hours away, and I'm in Silicon Valley. First of all, you're up early. Love to see that. Get your day started before the sun comes up, Day Trader. That's where it's at. But okay, so Silicon Valley, not really. That actually seems like a pretty good place to add a location, right? The Silicon Valley Tech Bros, get a Bros coffee in there, get them all jacked up on caffeine and sugar. That seems like a triple win, to be honest. Day Trader goes on to say, I've never had it. Spoke to someone that went to a Bros, said everything is super sweet. Indeed. And this is why I'm kind of thinking, I don't know that I would really like this. Again, give me the Nespresso, right? Give me the Nespresso, or give me some really good beans and a French press, and I'm a happy man. I don't want any of that sugar. Oh my God. World for everyone. My daughter spent $1,200 on Bros last month. World for everyone. First of all, you must absolutely love your daughter, and that is fantastic. The only gripe that I have here, where was this yesterday? You should have told us this right before the earnings report yesterday. I would have been like, $1,200, one person. This is probably beating here. We might have traded that. I'm just kidding. But that is pretty incredible. It just goes to show you that it's really the younger generation. And kind of to go back to Conditionally Accepted's comment about the super sweet, it does seem like, the younger folk are the ones that really like those sweet drinks. I wonder how that will kind of pan out. And I also wonder if this will be kind of short-lived as more and more people seem to be arcing towards health. Sugar, one of those things that really, really hurts. Day Trader says, I'm not into sugary drinks. Me either. Seniat saying they are catching up to Starbucks level. That actually, I know that Starbucks is worldwide at this point and has a huge first mover advantage, has been around for a while. But honestly, that's part of the bull thesis here, right? Like if this coffee is replacing an already popular coffee chain and the growth numbers continue to show that, that makes a lot of sense. That's definitely part of the bull case. Okay, sugar in coffee is gross. Facts. I like the taste of coffee. Sugar and caffeine are addictive. Money sign. Actually, 2 money signs. Indeed, they are. And again, so I love this. You guys are thinking about you guys and gals are thinking about all of the different angles here on some of these stocks. That's exactly what we should be doing here. So really good stuff. Really, really good stuff. I live in Michigan, mid-Michigan. The closest bros is 5 hours south in Kentucky. Wow. See, I feel like the Midwest, we don't really have a lot here. Anyway, okay, we'll see how Dutch Bros goes. Keep this one on your radar. I think we're going to get a pretty substantial trade here. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but I think this thing is setting up here. Okay, what time is it? We got 9 minutes till the PPI number. Let's go ahead and talk about Hood. Right? HOOD. They also reported earnings here up 13%. My producer here wrote boys in the hood. So because the boys in the hood are always hard, when you come talking that trash, we'll pull your card. Anyway, Robinhood Q4 highlights: record revenue, EPS beat analyst estimates, and crypto revenue up 700%. Robinhood also getting it done. I know we had talk recently about Robinhood maybe adding some type of like betting on players or sports betting or gambling aspect to their platform. I don't really know if that's a good idea. I personally wouldn't want to mix those. But in any case, let's take a look here at Robinhood's report, and then we'll go back to the chart. Robinhood fourth quarter revenue of $1.01 billion. That's up 115% year over year, a new company record. The revenue figure beat a street consensus of $944.62 million, according to that data. And here's a couple of data points that I wanted to break down here. Transaction-based revenue was $672 million in the fourth quarter, up 200% year over year. This total came following cryptocurrency revenues, $358. That's the 700% increase we just talked about. Options revenues, $222 million, up 83%, and equity revenue up 144%. It doesn't matter which metric you pick, Hood clearly getting it done. And with the interesting part to me is that, like, I think I've never had a Hood account. Number one, you should know that. So I frankly use the competing products here, but my like standout memory of Hood is during COVID when everything was going crazy. Traders couldn't even access their account or close out their positions due to some of the rules. And I remember thinking at the time, God, I can't even imagine how this is going to survive if that's the case. Here we are just several years later, and we have got eye-popping double and triple digit growth numbers. So clearly, that did not have the negative effect that we thought here. Also, crypto clearly becoming more and more mainstream. That is a huge boon here to Robinhood, and that to me doesn't look like that's slowing down at all. A couple more things here, then we'll go ahead and take a look at the chart. Here, the company said Robinhood Gold subscribers, that's that gold credit card that everyone was freaking out over, we're up 86% year over year to a record 2.6 million members in the fourth quarter. That is outstanding. That is outstanding. Russ, too cool, right? I love it. Boys in the Hood. Look, as soon as my producer's a cool dude. And as soon as I saw that on the note sheet, I just started singing it. So I figured I would, I'd bring it to you folks here. Appreciate that. All right. We hit the gas on product development in 2024, I'd say. with a new platform for active traders, a gold card launch, and an expanded UK and EU product suite, and much more, said CEO Vlad Tenev. So again, this company just clearly hitting it. The company ended, this is what I wanted to finish with, GGIs. The company ended the quarter with 25.2 million funded customers, up 8% year over year, and 26.2 million investment accounts. That's up 10% year over year. So I don't think this is just the crypto kids or the crypto bros. It seems like they are gaining accounts for all different types here, and that is having a positive effect here on Robinhood. Now, let's go back to the chart here. We have a very similar setup to bros. We are popping into a new range here. Look at this chart. Look at this chart, and look at this chart recently too. Man, August 5th, the yen carry trade unwind. This stock printed 15 as it sank beneath its 200-day moving average. Immediately bounced, and this thing is near vertical here, 63.60 here in the pre-market. So same deal. I want to see how this candle forms, as well as the candle tomorrow. Let's see if we end up getting some type of floating island setup here, or if we reverse, perhaps we have a potential gap fill down here. And again, just like bros, this one's even more crazy. 200-day moving average on Hood is 28.50. Current price is nearly 3 times that. Well, I guess it's just over 2 times. It's almost 30, but it is considerably higher here. And just because stocks are set or appear like they should have a regression back to the mean doesn't mean that is going to happen for sure. But man, oh man, if we can catch this one, especially if it comes back in. You know, the other thing, for those of you that are market bears, first of all, I'm sorry. I'm glad that you're still here, because the market has not been kind to bears recently. For those of you that are market bears, some of these really high flyers, these are likely going to crack and come back in substantially if the market really does go through a huge correction. Now, obviously, the big thing is, well, the buy the dippers are clearly in control, and absolutely they are. We'll see when that changes or if that changes. But again, some of these that have really moved, if the market really starts to crack, these could make some excellent shorts. Brandy here, Hood is fast becoming the real deal. Legend is a game changer coupled with the 3-cent option contract. In contrast, E-Trade is 51 cents. Brandy, I think that the TD Ameritrade contracts are 10 cents. So even cheaper than TD Ameritrade there, which seems to be cheaper than E-Trade. That's actually a really good point. Day Trader said, I loaded Hood at under $20 a share. Well, boy, oh boy, that looked to be a good buy. Been trying not to look at it and wait for 80. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, your patience has been paying off, and you might not have to wait too much longer. I don't know how much you have. To me, on a move like that with a home run trade like you've done here, I think paying yourself on the way up is probably the smart way to go. But hey, you're sitting on a massive winner. You do what you need to do. Lion is saying Hood has left the train station. Yeah, left the train station and took a one-way ticket to what? Euphoria? I mean, this thing just straight up. It's not the gold credit card. It's the gold subscribers. They're subscribed to the credit cards. That I'm just going through the stats there. Sorry if there was a technicality, but nonetheless, that card still driving more business. PPI data incoming. We are waiting for the PPI. I'm actually kind of trying to stall here right now before diving into Reddit, which is the next stock on my list. Then we'll do Crocs. I would like to get that PPI print data out of the way, and I want to see how the market responds to that. That is likely going to change how we look at some of these stocks. Fairchild is saying Hood is a gateway broker. I kind of looked at Hood like that too when it first came out, but I'll be honest with you, looking at some of those revenue numbers, it sure seems like a lot of those people are at least keeping one account there. I've done this before where I've had a really sizable trade, and I've thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to break some of this money out and I'm going to put it in a different account. I did that for a while. I actually started on Scottrade. The current account that I have was because I was testing out new accounts, but I also did that with my crypto account. So I can see that being the case. But again, the growth numbers there are still really impressive. We're less than a minute till these PPI numbers come out. Looks like we got about 20 seconds. I'll get those to you as soon as we can, and I'm sure we're going to see what the market or how the market reacts to that here. I know the CPI is generally the bigger one, but we'll see what we get here on the PPI print. And then we'll talk about Reddit, and we can also talk about Crocs. Let me actually add that. Oh, and Datadog and Deere also had earnings last night, so we can look at all of those here. Okay. Where are we at? Where's that PPI number at? I don't see it. I don't see. There we go. There we go. There's a little bit of a reaction. And I know we're a little bit delayed here because of that. All right. US PPI month over month for January, 0.4 or 0.4 versus the 0.3 estimate. Little hot there. USA core PPI month over month for January, 0.3 versus 0.3 estimate. The prior read was 0.4. That's good. PPI year over year for January, 3.5 versus the 3.2 estimate. The prior read was 3.3. So it looks like the PPI confirming here what we saw in the CPI. There we go. It is indeed out. So just quick look at the market here. S&P futures. I mean, it looks like we popped. I have a candle here showing, at least, I have a candle here showing that we popped to the upside initially and then came right back in. Good news here is that it looks like we didn't really reverse. It's still kind of hanging in there. S&P futures here down slightly at 0.05%. That's pretty much right where I read it to you when we signed on here. So looks like the knee-jerk reaction, not crazy. We'll see how this pans out as the market goes. You want to see the SPY on the 1 minute? Here you go. So again, looks like that pop up to 604, came back in, not really breaking down. Part of me has to wonder if the buy the dippers or the bulls anyway hold it up here. I'll hold the market up here. U.S. initial jobless claims, 213,000 versus the 217,000 estimate. So those coming out here as well. Again, market kind of unchanged here. Well, I'll tell you what, maybe that'll make for an easier market to trade here today. Maybe we'll have less craziness. Okay. Well, I'm going to let this settle out. We can go ahead and take a look at Reddit and Crocs. It looks like we are starting to move a little bit lower here. S&P futures down 0.15% now. But again, nothing really crazy. Certainly not like yesterday. So we'll see what that does. So far, a nothing burger, says Robert. Indeed. Market not really seeming to react to it. So we'll see where we end up going here today. Honestly, I could do for maybe a little bit more of a feed up day here where it's not as crazy. All right. Let's take a look at Reddit. RDDT. This is one I just mea culpa here. Reddit, when this thing first IPO'd, I was like, yeah, this might go up. There might be some hype, but I think this could probably return to the teens. It did nothing of the sort. It basically gave me two middle fingers and then kept running to the highs here. I remember when it printed 100, we were like, wow, it's crazy. It printed 100. When's it going to come in? And it didn't do any of that. It just went to 200 instead. So Reddit here, just an absolute monster. Revenue beat, EPS beat, shares slide as user growth slows. So Reddit here, despite the huge run, down 9+% here. You can see we actually lost the 20-day. But just to kind of put this in context, we basically are trading right back to where we were on Wednesday, January 29th. Well, so what? We deleted 2 weeks worth of price performance? Really not even a big deal at all, frankly. Let's take a look here at the report itself. Excuse me. Fourth quarter revenue, $427 million. That beat the consensus of $405 million. Fourth quarter earnings of 36 cents per share, beating the 25 cents. This is a beat on the top and the bottom line. Total revenue was up 71% on a year over year basis. That number that's crazy. Daily active users increased 39% year over year to 101.7 million. US daily actives declined on a quarter over quarter basis from 48.2 million to 48 million. Weekly active users totaled nearly 380 million in the quarter. So, okay. Quote here, what happened wasn't unusual. Referrals from search fluctuate from time to time, and they primarily affect logged out users. Our teams have navigated numerous algorithm updates and did an excellent job adapting to the latest changes effectively. Okay, so you folks are going to have to tell me what's the case here on Reddit. What's the bull case here on Reddit? What's the bear case here on Reddit? What do you guys think of this stock as a potential trade? By the way, for Reddit, oops, sorry, not sharing the right screen. For Reddit here, options were pricing in a 14% move. We're getting just about an 8% move presently. Also today here on Reddit, we did have some price target re-ratings. Price target was raised at Piper Sandler from 197 to 210. Morgan Stanley maintaining overweight, raising their price target to 210. Loop Capital went from 180 to 210. Baird went to 185. Needham went to 220. And Bank of America Securities raised to 190. So Reddit absolutely killing it here, or has been killing it recently. I almost think that this trade down to the 20, as we sit here right now, especially with the PPI being a nothing burger. By the way, S&P futures turning positive here, up over a tenth, up 0.13% here. So it looks like we're getting that print out of the way and higher we go. I got to say, I think that this is definitely one to watch for a potential dip buy. I think this is on for a potential dip buy. Well, let me know what you folks think. Let's see. Lion here saying Reddit is overrated. I mean, Reddit is overvalued. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, Lion. I'm sorry about that. I felt the same way, but it continues to produce here. Forward PE of 185. Just to make sure that that's 185 and not 135. 185, that is a Palantir like price to earnings. It certainly seems overvalued to me. Growth issues attributed to change in the Google search that will not persist. Here you go, Robert. So you're thinking that one of the things that they cited as a negative here is likely to be resolved going forward, and that should be a positive for the stock there. Reddit is likely to reclaim and go higher. Bang. So I'm kind of thinking the same thing. I'm kind of thinking the same thing, you know. And like I said, it's okay to be wrong, not okay to stay wrong. If you can't beat them, join them. Initially thought Reddit was going to move back down, has not shown any signs of that. Maybe we get a potential day trade here today. 15 points up to break even on that. We are considerably off the lows. Lows of 178 yesterday. Wow. Lion, you're saying a short here. The one says, bro is the face of Benzinga. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm going to take it as a compliment with the glass half full approach. Reddit is home of Wall Street bets. It is never failing. Or is that falling or failing? Falling. So that's actually a good point. Like, I'm not sure exactly how the math works from Wall Street bets to the bottom line, but that is a huge community, and I don't see that going away. I really don't. Have never sold any Reddit. I'm still bullish. Day trader, you seem to pick the right stocks here. I'll tell you what. And if you have an impressive long-term view, that's where the big money and wealth moves come from. That's really, really awesome. Fairchild says, Reddit, the users create the product. Bang. Okay. So we'll see here. We'll see what we get here. And then Snoopy here mentioning something. I know we're trading up here. I was mentioning that we're now up 0.2% here on the S&P futures post PPI print. Snoopy, snow cones, and more. I love your guys' YouTube handles. Remember, Trump will be talking about the reciprocal tariffs later on today, and you could be a flush from there. That's actually not a bad point. Maybe we trade back up to the high end of the range. Looking at my SPY chart here, I've got that at what? About 605.5. So we're a point away from that. Maybe we get some tariff tape bomb news later today, and that brings us right back down. But so far, so good. Treasuries are down. Market is trading up. We'll see what that means here for the day. Reddit is valued on the user's information, just like Meta. Well, I'll tell you what, if it's just like Meta, this has some more room to the upside here. And I'm starting to think maybe buy the dip today is the way to go on Reddit. Anything else that you folks wanted to cover on Reddit? I think that pretty much does it. I'm sure we'll take a look at this as the market opens up and as we trade here today. Bring out another thing here. Just checking on some other stuff. Okay. We can also, you guys also want to take a look at Crocs. Let's do that here real quick as well. They, of course, reported earnings. We also had Datadog and Deere from yesterday. Here's your Crocs chart. You can see this stocks up 18%, another huge winner yesterday. Crocs shares trading higher following the Q4 earnings beat and upbeat guidance. That seems to be the theme from earnings season here. Really, it all seems to be about the guide, as that's the forward-looking component. Q 2024 adjusted EPS 252. That beats the 226 estimate. Sales of 989.7 million beats the 961.92 million estimate. So beat on the top and the bottom line there. Crocs brand revenue increased 4% year over year to 762 million. Hey Dude brand revenues were flat at 228. So this one's interesting to me. I remember when I first got a hold of Hey Dudes, I was like, wow, these are awesome. They're not that expensive. They're comfortable. You can slip them on. They've got a lot of like really kind of casual applications. Then I found Kane's recovery shoes, and the rest was history. So that Hey Dude brand seemed to be popular initially, but the numbers have come in a little bit on that. Crocs says it approved a $1 billion increase to share repurchase authorization earlier this month, after which approximately $1.3 billion remained available for future common stock repurchases. So you've got a ton of money waiting and ready to buy this stock if it does fall. I'll be honest with you, to me, that tells me that a buy the dip is probably going to be in effect here if Crocs really falls. And especially if it isn't some type of like huge business changing news. We're beneath a lot of these moving averages. I would imagine if Crocs rolls over maybe to this 80, 78, 80 level, maybe you start having some of that buyback take over. Now, obviously, we're going to open up above 100 here. So I'm not sure. We would have to reverse and really kind of go down hard here to get to that level. We'll see if we retake the 50-day moving average. This is going to be the next upside level here. We've already taken the 20 on this gap, but 104.85 here, 50 at 105.58. That's definitely going to be your next level to watch. And then also this 114 to 115 area, that is your 100-day moving average, as well as the top from December, the near-term top from December. So upside levels here on Crocs to pay attention to: 105.5 and 114 to 115. And GUR, BBAI, we'll probably take a look at both of those on the when we talk about some of the movers. BBAI definitely seems to be in play again. I mean, that thing, I actually traded that thing in the afternoon yesterday. It was fantastic on that 950 break. GUR has been wild recently. So, okay. Peggy here is saying Crocs is expanding. So there you go. So Crocs getting it done. If they're expanding, they got a buyback. They've had a recent down move here. I don't know. I think this one might be pretty good too. I don't like the Crocs shoe itself. That normally keeps me away from this, but we you know what? We got to ask Jay Rice when he shows up here. We got to ask Jay Rice and see what he thinks about that. Okay. I guess let's take a quick look at Datadog, ticker DDOG, and then we can also take a look at Deere. Here's Datadog. This down 7.7%. And again, this is all about the guidance. It seems to be weak guidance that's sending this down. We actually did lose the 100-day. So while we're on the chart here, we might as well discuss that. Two possible things to watch here. Number one, do we reclaim and close above this 100-day, which is at 137.34? Also, note here what we've done. We've actually filled the gap that we had down to what, 136-ish? So we filled this gap down here. This took us to the 100. I'm almost wondering if we reclaim this 100, if our next upside target might be 143. That would make sense to me, wouldn't it? Looks like we really couldn't get above the 50. That level is going to come into play. And then if we break down, or if we're unable to recapture this 100-day, especially, let's say, by next week, I think we probably can set our sights on this 127.5 level, which corresponds with the 200-day moving average. Okay. So that's just kind of what I'm seeing here on the chart for Datadog. Obviously, RSI is in no man's land, so frankly, this could go either direction. We could take a look here. Datadog adjusted EPS 49 cent. That beat the 44 cent estimate, and sales 738 million, beat the 714.5 million estimate. So beat on the top and the bottom line here, but here it was. This is the guide. Datadog sees Q1 adjusted EPS 41 to 43 cents. The estimate was 46 cents, the high end of the range, under the estimate. Revenue 737 million to 741 million. The estimate there was for 740.3 million. So the top end of the range is higher than the estimate, but seems to be a little bit lower there. FY25 adjusted EPS 165 to 170. The estimate was for 205 there, so looks to be a little short. And then the revenue here, the full year revenue, this is really where the light guide came from. 3.17 billion versus the 3.23 billion estimate. Conference call is currently ongoing, so maybe we'll get some more information out of this, but Datadog looks like it's moving lower here. Okay. XLO, don't worry, we're going to be taking a look at that. That is definitely on the list here for today. I did want to take one more quick look at Deere, then we'll go over and hit those movers. Looks like we got 13 a little bit early. You guys are going to get some bonus 13 time today. Make sure you smash up the like from a man 13. Deere here. We talked about this recently. This has been on a huge move. We also talked about this being a potential play on the California wildfires, as they're going to be use their equipment or their product is going to be used in the cleanup and rebuilding of that area, which could take God knows how long. One of the other things that's going on here at Deere, they are moving more to subscription models. So they're not allowing people to repair their tractors. We can ask 13 about it. I know he's a little bit more connected to it than I am, but the right to repair movement is a thing that is going on. Deere here down just under 5% here. Let's take a quick look at some of the earnings on this, or some of the numbers here. GAAP EPS 319 beat the 314 estimate. Sales 8.51 billion beat the 7.7 billion estimate. The whole thing about the being unable to repair the equipment and going to a subscription model, that should increase revenues, and those estimates are anywhere between 30 and 60%. So that's kind of why they're moving it. It's good for the company, bad for the actual farmer. Could other companies like Kubota take advantage of that? A lot of questions to be answered here on that. So we'll see here. Deere in charts. Production and Precision Agriculture Series down 37% year over year in FQ1. Small AG and Turf down 28%. Net income, Deere sees FY25 net income 5 billion to 5.5 billion, the effective tax rate of 20 to 22%. Some more stats there. Deere was down 8% at the lows, but it is up off the lows, perhaps following the PPI print. So, okay, that's Deere. Let's see, where are we at here? 455. So we're sitting right in here. I'd actually love for Deere to weaken, retest its 50, and then hold it. That might give us a ability to trade this alongside. Brandy, the retail locations for Deere are terrible for repairs. I have no knowledge of this, so I'm going to lean on you for that. People I know in construction are staying away from Deere. Ed, I'm glad that you said that. This is one of the things that we were discussing in the happy hour yesterday. One of the questions that I asked those that are more in the know to this, or more connected to these folks, I said, it was pretty universal that they don't like this decision. Like, a lot of these farmers, these people are do-it-yourself people, just at their core. They want to repair these things themselves. In addition to saving some money. And I said, is the groundswell from that going to be big enough to make a difference? And the answer that I was getting from the group was unanimously no. So it seems like what you're saying here is exactly how people feel. Really, the only question is going to be, is it going to be enough to make an impact? And I don't know the answer to that. I don't know the answer to that, Ed. That's going to be something that we're going to have to look over, or we're going to have to watch. Okay. Oh, we wanted to take a look at App Lovin'. I'll start that. Let's bring on 13 though. He's here early. Let's bring him on. Let's give the bonus time. 13, how you doing this morning, man?
Hey, I'm fine, but this is when I usually come on.
feel like it's
Yeah.
8. I always feel like sometimes I got interviews or sometimes I'm
When you have interviews, then it's usually 8.
Okay, so look, just roll with me, okay? You're on a
All
little
right,
bit early. Bonus time. It's bonus time for the people that showed up here early. That's all.
All right. Well, what do we want to look at? I heard
You know what?
talking about
I think I do really quickly want to cover app. If there are any of those charts that you wanted to go over from those earnings for levels or anything like that, we can absolutely go back to that. I did just really quickly want to read out some of the numbers here, and then we can go to whatever you want. Movers, earnings. You can talk about the PPI if you want, whatever you want. Let's just take a look here at app. I'm going to repeat the comment that I got yesterday in the happy hour that I absolutely loved. App only knows one direction, and that one direction is up. The stock, for whatever reason, just continues to trade up. Every time I see it, I think of McLovin from the the Superbad. Is it?
Yep.
No.
It was Superbad.
No, it was Superbad. Sorry, I'm mixing it up with the superhero movie. I'm forgetting the name. Doesn't matter. Every time I see this, I think of McLovin. I laugh, but this stock it's no laughing matter. It continues to go higher here. AppLovin shares are trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q4 financial results and raised Q1 revenue guidance above estimates. I remember the last time App reported earnings, we took a look at it. We were like, wow, stock is extended. Excuse me. This stock is extended. This stock is really ripping. Look at the RSI. The RSI entered overbought territory on Wednesday, September 11th, and remained there, aside from a quick dip at the beginning of November, remained there until December. I mean, it just goes to show you that when a stock gets overbought, it can remain overbought. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to come back in. And lo and behold, we're going to be faced with the exact same situation this time. We are now in overbought territory here on the daily. The stock is pushed to a new range here, just like on Bros and just like on Reddit, or just like on, what was the other stock that really beat that we were taking a look at earlier? What? Hood. Thank you. God bless it. Just like we were talking about on Bros and Hood, we want to see how these candles form. Maybe we get an island formation. Maybe we get a reversal candle and a potential gap fill below. That's going to be kind of what we're looking at here. Some of the numbers here, for those of you that are sticklers for the numbers or that follow them, EPS 173 beat the 125 estimate. Big beat there. 1.37 billion beat the 1.26 billion estimate. And the Q1 revenue, 1.35 billion to 1.38 billion. The estimate was 1.32, I guess, 1.319. It's 1.32. So again, guiding above the low end of the range is above the estimate. That seems to be the big catalyst here. App holding steady here, plus 29% plus.
Yeah. So what do we have here with App? Is this going to be an archipelago with all the islands that we're starting to get here? Because we have that one gap up from November. I'm assuming that was on an earnings print of some kind.
Yep.
So now we have another gap up. We have multiple islands happening here. Now, what's interesting here is this gap up that we have this time is not as big. I know it looks bigger, but it's not as big as the gap that we had in November. The one
on a percentage basis, right?
Right. Yeah. So that was like a 35% gap up in November. This time around, I think it's like 25%.
So I have it at 28 versus 32, but those numbers are pretty much right in line. You're absolutely, the point's made.
Yeah. So, it seems like these islands are starting to narrow in terms of how high they run before we get into the open. But, another island. So what does that tell you about the price action we're going to get? Do you think we continue with this upward momentum with these islands? Well,
I'll tell you what, man, the last time that this thing gapped up, I said the same thing that I just said today to the group. I said, let's see if this thing produces an island. Let's see if the candle comes back in, test the bottom end of the range. It did nothing of the sort. Actually, the next day it ripped again. And I remember us saying, like, oh my goodness, it's going again. Like, maybe this will be a short here. And then it just consolidated. It held that area and consolidated and took 2 more legs up. So, dude, I mean, look, I can't tell you here. I would say based on what the stock has previously done, I wouldn't be surprised if it ripped even more here today. What I would like to see is a more tradable setup. This thing is just, I feel like you're just trying to jump in front of a momentum train if you're trying to pull a short on this. I know a lot of people tried to do the same thing on Palantir and got absolutely wrecked doing that. And I don't even think that was the bad decision. Like, Palantir looked extended to me. I had done the same thing. I just not really trying to expose myself to that kind of risk. App seems to be the same deal here. I mean, what do you think, 13? It's like this is.
Well, if we repeat what we did last time, we're going to go on a run for a period of time, a couple, maybe a month or two, because that's what happened when we gapped up in November. We just went on this, what is like an 85% run all the way up to that high that we still haven't, that we didn't never hit until we had earnings today or yesterday.
You're talking about this candle here, the Friday, December 6th candle, yeah. Mm-hmm. By the way, look at the head and shoulders that we were kind of forming. It was just like, nah, we ain't doing that.
Yeah, those shoulders had some shoulder pads in it, so it kind of didn't really have the shoulders sticking up. It was kind of like broadened, or not broadened, but like flat.
I'm deleting it because that's just
that was so invalidated.
So but, okay,
we could look at some other stuff, some other movers. We can go anywhere. I was
gonna say, why don't we do the movers list then, and then we can do ticker time.
Sure. Let's go.
And go through whatever folks want to take a look at here. All right, we're going to start, and actually some of these, Hood is on here. Mm-hmm. BBAI, we're going to take a look at that. Yep. Absolutely. TEM, Tesla actually having a decent pre-market. Yeah.
And don't look, twice, but AIFF is back on there. And what do you know? What do you know? That $16 level that I got laughed at for mentioning yesterday, we're there now. So who's laughing? Who's laughing?
I'm laughing with you, 13. Just to be abundantly clear here, I'm laughing with you. Your crazy targets, like I am not poo-pooing them. I have consider my lesson learned. I'm not doing that here. Here, let's just start at the top of the list. We'll get to AIFF here in a sec. Sure. First one here is going to be EDSA. This is Odessa Biotech. Odessa Biotech shares are trading higher. The company announced a $15 million private placement priced at the market under the NASDAQ rules. So this stock here up 71% on that piece of news. Make sure there was nothing else in here. It is 15 million is for their antibody program. That's to advance. That's one of their clinical programs here. Also short interest here. I've got this at net. This is just negligible. 0.5%, 1 day to cover. Really nothing going on here short wise. Float 2.91 million, right in the butter zone there. On average, the stock traded 26,000 shares. Today we've traded 24 million, just about. So what do you think here on EDSA?
Well, they needed cash before, so now they've got it. So we can stop worrying about that, because this private placement they were raising capital for is for their CXIII program that is currently in phase 2. So they have a number of other things that they're also working on. So they have contact dermatitis. And a couple of monoclonal antibody. So there's a number of things they have going on, but this one is for specifically their phase 2 monoclonal antibody treatment that's designated as CXIII. So they have a float now of 2.9 million shares. So just what we would like to see to make it easy to trade. As far as an upside target goes, because that's really all I've got left on this, is I'd be looking this thing to hit $4 at some point today. That I don't know that we'll get there, but when I look at the longer term time frames and seeing as how we've broken through the 65 EMA on the daily and the 200, I think we touched the 200 EMA on the daily as well. The only level I see that's really interesting after that is going to be $4. And then we get into a huge consolidation area.
Yeah, and that consolidation area, I would say 13. This is 4 to 475, maybe even 4 all the way up to 5. Frankly, there are a couple of candles that test that top end of the range there. So
we'll see what we get when this opens.
Okay.
Looking at the 5-minute chart right now, we're still above VWAP, but it looks like it's starting to show signs of rolling over. So we'll just wait and see what this does closer to the open, but we start losing that VWAP, I'd want to wait for this one to show us a bottom before we start trying to trade it.
Okay, with you there. I do think 280 might be a downside support. That's 24 cents under my VWAP anyway. But I agree. If it really kind of starts cracking VWAP, that could be trouble. All right, next here is going to be AMOD, Alpha Modus. I feel like we took a look at this one recently. Here's your 1-minute chart. Looks like this spiked, came back in. Let's see if I've got anything. Yes, thank you. Thank you, producer. Alpha Modus announces an AI-powered retail expansion with CashX, trading $75 million in annual ad revenue.
This must have just started going because
Yeah,
I don't have any. I didn't look at this one.
this came out 9 minutes ago. This press release was out. So this is a fresh pop here. I don't have a float measure. I do have a short interest here of just about 1 million shares, but without a float measure, I'm not really sure what to make of that.
It's 7.6 million. That's from what my broker says. But I'd be careful because they just filed to sell shares yesterday. I don't know if they executed that. So that was a news.
So there's an offering on the table here, ready to go.
Mm-hmm. So sorry about that. So let's another one that we'll have that I would personally wait to see what ends up happening out of the open. But this one's just to be careful with because they're going to kind of go ahead and file to sell some more shares. We could see that happen today with this price action. If it's good news, there's a lot of eyes on this, a lot of people trading it, so that'll give you some liquidity. But I think we need to be careful with this one if they have that on the table.
Okay, good stuff. All right, now we're going to one that we are familiar with. AIFF. This was so good yesterday. It's actually been good 2 days in a row, and lo and behold, we might have a third day here in a row. Nothing new on this, at least no new news that I saw earlier. It looks like it's just popping on relative volume here.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, everything that I have is from yesterday, and the fresh news was from the day before. Remember, this is running on the NVIDIA Connect program PR we got several days ago. This thing did hit 13's crazy level, actually traded above 17. Again, just a really quick reminder here, 9.8% of the float shorted, and a float of 5.5 million. So 13, I hate to put you to work right away, but what are the next crazy levels?
It's the same ones I've been saying all week. It's those. It's going to be the 21. I think it was 2160, and I also mentioned 2330. Those are where we had those longer term EMAs. So the 200 EMA on the weekly, that's going to be the actual figure is 2164, but it's going to start rising as the price is coming up. So those EMAs are going to adjust higher. And then on the monthly, we have the 65 and the 200 that are right about the same area at 23, now 2335. But I was mentioning 2330 yesterday. So where these EMAs are, or where it's going to where it's likely to head next, and that's if we continue with this momentum. I haven't seen signs that it's slowing down yet, but I think if we are going to get more movement, today might be the last day. I'm looking at some of the history of this stock's price action, and one thing that really sticks out is the price action from 2023, at the end of February and beginning of March. We had this, this really big move off the bottom. It was like, well, I think it may have reverse split since then, but let's just say it didn't. It was about $10 when it came off its bottom, and it really started moving and had a couple of really good days at the beginning of March. And then we had the bank run, and that just it popped up and it went right down. Now, I'm not saying that this is affiliated with that, but it's just one of those things where you get these big crazy momentum moves, and it went almost up to those EMAs that we're looking at now, and then it went right back down and it made new lows. So today could be that day.
Okay,
I don't know that for a fact.
But be careful. It sounds like what you
just be careful
this morning. Yeah. Okay.
Just be careful. I think we're gonna open. We're probably gonna see incredible moves, and then this may be the day where once it starts selling, it does not recover. So just keep that in mind. Let's say thank you, take our gains when we got them, and then let's see what it does. I have a feeling that we're not going to continue upwards later in the day with this one.
Okay. Good stuff there. AIFF. Marcus Aurelius Energy. I have to ask. You just know how to get my attention very clearly. I just rolled up to the Costco gas station, and now you may be getting 5% cash back soon on Costco. Can you elaborate on this? I have maintained that Citi card from Costco is the best credit card out there. No fee, and I get like $700 to $800 back in cash every year as a reward. Does more than pay for the Costco membership. Costco membership already gets paid by the executive bonus, but I'm going on. They give you 4% cash back right now. You're saying they might actually bump that up to 5%. That'd be awesome. I pretty much buy 95% of my gas at Costco gas stations. I maximize that reward. This is great news if this is the case. Great news. I think I saw that 5% back on gas announced too. Well, gosh, you guys are ahead of me on the Costco news, and now I feel like I dropped the ball and need to be better. So I will look into that. That's exciting news. I'm stoked about that. Appreciate you mentioning that. Okay. We talked about AMOD, we talked about AIFF, we talked about EDSA. Dom H here, it looks like this is coming back. Remember, this popped initially on, we called it the Trump and dump. This was the Eric and Don Jr. joining the board. There was another piece of news that happened with this one. It was announces the 13.5 million registered direct offering. So they had 2 Trumps join the board. 2 Trumps make a dump, apparently. They did an offering, stock came back in. Now it's starting to curl back up. So I guess we'll see if this moves through the VWAP here and maybe some of these other levels. I'll be honest with you. I think that there are some other stocks that I would rather play here today than this one. But that's what's going on here with Dom H. Quick reminder here of the share structure. 7% of the float shorted on this name and a float of 4 million. So really, really low. What do you got on this one? Anything?
Oh, I know. I didn't look at this one. I didn't look at this one, unfortunately.
Okay, so. It's okay. This one is previous runner. There doesn't really seem to be anything new. It just seems like kind of a chart play. We're back to the area that we consolidated at least the bottom end of the range from Tuesday. So we'll see if that gets moving. Crocs also on your list here. We already covered that. That's moving. It's up 18% here on strong earnings and guidance. We talked about Hood already from this list. PGY, this is Pagaya Techs. We have traded this stock a lot. We've seen this one on the relative volume scanner frequently. Pagaya here. Looks like they reported earnings before the open here. Let me get you those stats. Producers got them on the screen there. Adjusted EPS 17 cent beat the 37-cent loss estimate. Big beat there. Sales 275.67 million beats the 265 million estimate. Q1 adjusted EBITDA 65 to 75 million. And full year adjusted EBITDA 265 to 315 million. Stocks up 18% here. Ticker PGY. Do you have anything on this one? 13?
No, I was the next one I was looking at was TCBP.
Okay, we'll get to that one next here. Just to kind of round out PGY, this does have some squeeze potential here. 18.38% of the float shorted with 7 days to cover. Now you have a positive earnings catalyst underneath it, driving the stock higher. Conference call is currently going on. Maybe something else comes out of there. PGY up 18% here. If we take a look at the daily chart, let's see where we're at. 18. Okay, so I think maybe some of your next areas, actually this might be an area. Next one here, probably what, 15 looks to be a pretty decent resistance area, then maybe 17.5 on that one. So that's PGY. Okay, Crocs, Hood, Dom H, we did all of that. Here's your TCBP. Let's talk about that one. Wow, pop and drop here. TC Biopharma shares trading higher after they completed cohort A and it's achieved phase 2B clinical trial. What do you got?
Yeah, that was the news. I hadn't looked at it in a little bit because we were covering these other ones. That is a nasty drop. But yes, so the news is that they had their cohort A enrolled at their Achieve clinical trial, which is currently in phase 2B. The cohort B is still going through enrollment. This company needs cash. So it's not surprising that everybody that was trading this looked at it and was like, oh, let's get out of this. But at the same time, what's also happening is it's going through an ADS ratio change. And this is the second one this year so far. It's got the same effect as a reverse split. But it's in the news that you can see that it kind of amounts to a 1-for-20 reverse split. Now they have 10 million, a little more than 10 million shares in the float. Wasn't aware that this one absolutely cratered while we were covering these. So maybe we'll just have to wait and see what this does after the open, because it's going to be finding a bottom down here where it's at. Okay.
There you go. TCBP. Sergeant Sexy asking, Ryan, what's the difference between hollow and regular candles? So I think what you're asking is what the candle looks like on the screen. As far as I'm aware, there is no difference other than what it looks like. Then your second part, which do you use? I use the full candles. It's just easier for me to see. In fact, in Thinkorswim, when you load up a brand new layout or whatever, when you open up Thinkorswim and it has the default settings, I think it's the green candles are hollow and the red candles are full, and it is like the most distracting thing I've ever seen in my life. The first thing that I do is I fill those candles in. Sergeant Sexy, I don't know if there's anything else here. I use the filled in candles simply because they're easier to see. Hollow candles are trend candles. They are different. There you go. Do you use hollow candles at all, 13? Is this just me being a moron?
Nope, I don't use them. Like, we've talked before about how, too much can mess with your trading. So
yep.
I feel like the indicators I have are enough.
Yep. And actually, so while we're on the subject of this, one of the things that I did try, here's the hollow candles that he's talking about, right? And, I know you're saying that they're trend candles. I
don't see the difference.
I don't either. I guess I would ask, what is the more information that they give you? To me, it's just harder to see, frankly. But the one other thing to keep in mind here, let's look at, TCBP is a poor example. Let's go to Hood. Here we go. Again, this for me, just harder to see. One of the other candles that I had tried at one point was the Haikinashi. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but these, I guess, also, there's like no gaps in these candles. And I never really, it's supposed to give you like a smoother view of what's going on or something like that. Again, I'm not very, as you can see, I'm not very experienced with these. I like just my straight up traditional candles. Gives me the best view of the market.
One of the wildest candles were the teardrops that show the volume in the candles. You remember those?
Yeah.
Those are interesting.
Yeah, those are interesting. Ryan here says some people don't like the psychology of green and red candles, ? Yes. Also, there are people that are green and red colorblind. So like one of my good friends that I go golfing with, it's a male. I guess that's more common in females from what I understand. But he's male and he has red-green colorblind. And I've asked him sometimes, I've been like, hey, what does this look like to you? He's like, I can't see shit, dude. It's like I've asked him to look at charts. He's like, I can't make out heads from tails here. It is worth noting I think any platform that I'm aware of that they do allow you to change the candle colors. So you can do that. You tweeted me a link from Toss. Okay, awesome. Is my Twitter working? Don't see your tweet, but I'll read into that. You can always get better, right? You can always learn more stuff and get better. Interesting question. Never really got asked that one before. Okay, 13, after I was rambling there, is there anything else that you covered here? I know CDT day trader, you were mentioning the CDT chart. You said this looks like a meme coin. Yeah, it kind of does, actually. That's pretty good. I don't really know. Is there anything going on here news-wise? Yeah, there is. Partners with Charles River in clinically relevant systemic lupus. Not even going to try to pronounce that model. So partners with Charles River to evaluate one of its preclinical models, aims to enhance the phase 2 trial outcomes for autoimmune disorders, and it focuses on lupus. $1.90 here, stock popped, came back in. I don't really know what to make of that.
Yeah, it's got some short interest, but the float's so small that it doesn't really make a big difference because they'll be covered in a day. I think one of the bigger pieces of news was yesterday, or not yesterday, but the day before, where it announced the debt repayment and conversion of senior notes. That's, they're managing their finances. That's good news. I don't think it really moved yesterday, though. Did it? Not really. They had some other news on Friday that saw high volume. I don't know what that was about. But anyway, they have earnings in 12 days, so that's I don't really have anything on this one. Let's take a look here at the chart. Below VWAP, that pop and drop, yeah. We're just right back going sideways to where we were before that whole pop happened. So I really don't know what to make of this. Maybe this is just another one that we just wait and see what happens after we open.
Yeah. Ryan here saying, I've seen price volume vertically on the right-hand side of a chart. That looked useful, but never used it. Let's talk about this here real quick. Do you have any other movers that you really want to go over? 13?
No. The movers list was kind of dry this morning.
Yeah, it was. So we can do ticker time next here, but yeah. I actually really like this question. by Ryan here. Sorry, Ryan. It's such a great name. I couldn't even get it out. What he's talking about here, these, what did you call it? Volume vertically on the right. What you're talking about is a study called volume profile. Right. So I'm going to add right here in Benzinga Pro through TradingView here. It's called volume profile visible range. And this is what it does. It basically plots volume levels along with the price on the right hand side. You'll also notice that as you change the view, it will obviously recalculate and redraw some of those volume lines. So this is going to be dependent upon the time frame that you're viewing on the chart as well. At least it is in TradingView here. I actually think this is extremely helpful information. And one of the things that I would be looking for here is what I call, there's two things that I think you should look here. First of all, the red line, that's at 229.04 here. This is called your VPOC. That's volume point of control. This is going to be a key level here. You can view this as a support and or resistance level. The other thing that you'll see a lot of people on FinTwit, this is kind of where I learned it from, frankly, when I was diving into it. You'll see people refer to some of these bigger volume levels as volume shelves. And basically you'll see like for example, if we take a look here at Apple, stock traded up, okay, traded right back into the volume shelf, these big volume bars here, as well as the VPOC, the volume point of control, the red line, and it bounced from that area. So now I know that the 200-day moving averages here, we didn't quite hit it. You could make the argument that it bounced from the 200-day, but this is just another data point here. And once we pulled off that impulse move, look what it did. It consolidated right along that volume shelf, right above that volume point of control. And now it actually looks like it wants to take the next leg up there. So I will say there's probably a lot more that I can use using volume profile. I'm often taking a look at this. I know Nick Shaheen from our ecosystem here, he uses volume profile a lot. He's one of the first people that I started to follow when he was using that. So if you guys have more tips and tricks here for volume profile or really any other indicator, I actually don't think those are bad discussions when we have some downtime as well.
Ryan Milligan mentioning surely those some of those levels act as resistance and support too. Absolutely, they're demand and supply zones, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Shadow One here said volume profile can be quite useful. Day Trader says volume profile is an excellent indicator. I use it on many time frames. Now, Day Trader, I'd like to hear a little bit more about that. I use this pretty much just on the daily. I mean, if I leave it on here and I switch over to a monthly, obviously it draws there. I wouldn't say that I take a whole lot of insights from it. It's basically the same thing. I'm basically looking for the same thing here on the daily, but I'd be curious how you actually use that on smaller time frames, like intraday time frames. Okay.
Getting some movement from Hollow.
I just wanted to make sure. I just wanted to make sure I covered everything here. You guys are absolutely awesome. Crow, I know you're saying Madaz is a short seller. Look, you guys are welcome to have your own opinions. I think he is phenomenal. I think he is a phenomenal trader. He actually doesn't just go short. In fact, probably one of his best trades is called the halt washout long. He's extremely transparent, which I think is one of the things that actually sets him above a lot of the traders out there. I don't have a bad word to say about that guy. Just to be clear here, he's phenomenal. He's absolutely phenomenal. But the reason I'm bringing this up here, obviously, you're saying he's down 500K. I can't confirm whether or not that's true. I'll say this: he takes his lumps and he gets right back up and then makes it back. So again, the guy is an absolute machine. He does not just short. He's a friend of Benzinga, and I followed him for a long time. I'm really impressed not only with his ability but his transparency. I don't have a bad thing to say about the guy. Okay, what else do you guys want to take a look at here?
I've been seeing mentions for like RCAT, BBAI, some of our regularly traded movers. What do we want to look at first? RCAT? All right.
Yeah, you know what I'm going to do here, just because we talked about this, I'm going to leave volume profile on today. I'm going to leave it on the big chart here, and we'll see what we can do from it. Hey, look at that. RCAT looks like we are just above the VPOC, the volume point of control.
Not too fond of the way the daily chart looks. I'm sure you see why. I mean, we get down to 8. That's going to be one level that I feel like it can't lose, because it looks like where the neckline could be. I mean, the neckline could also be as low as 675, but this formation just doesn't look great. We need to recapture 10. That's what I think needs to happen, and that means getting over the 50-day SMA.
Yep. Yeah. You know what, 13? I think you're exactly right. Now, just using our new indicator, we're right here in a pretty thick volume shelf. So you could make the case that this is actually a prime spot for this to bounce from. That can be. We'll see if we end up getting it. Actually, we are up 3.6% here today, so maybe we did bounce from that area. Jane, I'm talking about Madaz, M-A-D-A-Z. He is a FinTwit trader. He's been doing it for a long time.
Folks were also asking about Hollow. That's getting going on an announcement that they're using DeepSeek to create simulated quantum computing. I don't know. I know, but I'm not sure how I got completely associated with this stock. Thanks, Lynn and Randy.
I was going to say, I know how you did. In fact, I know how you did. You made a couple of trades on this one time, and Lynn and Randy came up with an extremely memorable and repeatable line, and they just kept doing it. And that's how it had. Just if you say something enough, it becomes truth. Obviously, as we've seen.
Just be careful with Hollow. I mean, it's great for trading, quick in and out trades. I don't ever think it's going to do what it did. I think it was early last year, where it just went on this massive run to $100, and then it came right back in. I don't think that's going to happen. But if this provides some trades, of course, don't let me stop you from trading it. Just understand the risk that you're getting yourself into by trading this one. It can go right back to where it began in within a day's time.
Smoke Tuna says, 13, you just woke me up. Hollow DeepSeek. Let's go.
Oh, man.
This is a good question here from William. What's your opinion on the Baba run? I like this question. We actually talked about this recently, and do have some opinions here on the Baba run. Well, first of all, I think I shared, it was earlier this week. I shared with you a tweet that showed a statement from David Tepper as of December 31st. And how he was rotating into a lot of big cap Chinese stocks, Baba absolutely being one of them. In fact, I think it was the biggest position. PDD was on there. I think some of the ETFs that track big cap China were on there as well. And he was early on that. A lot of these stocks have been extremely hit. Still have my drawing tool on there. And Baba made a huge move here. Now, what do I think of Baba right now? Well, I think we're at an important spot here on Baba. This 120 area. Now, we are 5 points away, or 4.5 points away from that, because the stock's down 2.3% here today. But this 120 area, this sure seems to be an important level. In fact, I almost want to call 13. I want to get your opinion on this, but to my eye here, it sure looks like this is a quadruple top, right? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I suppose if you want to make an argument here, maybe that was 5 and it was a previous a previous support area that's now resistance. However you want to classify it, it sure looks to me like this 120 area is going to be extremely important for us to get over. Also worth noting, with our new kind of live lesson here today, using the volume profile here, you can see that this area where Tepper was adding, this 85 area, has actually produced a pretty substantial volume shelf, one that is actually above the volume point of control. So we're at a resistance area, which means the next thing here, this is either going to break down and be rejected by this area, or we're going to break out from this area. If we do, we could possibly make some more runs up here. 140, not out of the question. So 13, you got anything here on Baba for William?
Well, aside from the number of reasons that I think it's moving right now, or coming back up, let's look at the technical side of this. I don't think I would call this a triple top or a quadruple top, because we're trying to find a bottom here. The stock's been trying to find a bottom, and it seems to be more rounding off. So I would think that this is, maybe we could call it that, but I think this is more of just like more trying to recover. And to your point about the 120 area, that does look like the big area of resistance that the price has had the most trouble with trying to recover. So you could assume that maybe the stock's in full recovery mode if it breaks and holds over 120. Now on the way up, you do have some pretty big resistance areas. The first being from this 2018, late 2018. That's going to be at about 130, and that was a double bottom during that period of time. So you have from October to December of 2018, that area in there is going to provide the earliest point of resistance that I can see. After that, you have about 138 to 140, which is going to be from September, October area back in 2021. So those would be the next two areas. If we break over 120, that I'd be looking at for the next levels of resistance.
Okay. William, let me know if that's helpful. I think that you're asking very specifically about this run. I think we've had a pretty substantial move in a short amount of time. We have high RSI, and whether or not we call this a triple top or whatever, clearly this is a resistance area. And question is, do we break out from this area, or do we maybe take a break here? That would be what I would watch. How do we trade around 120?
And Crows, you're right. The Lunar New Year, the Chinese Lunar New Year, that's over. So those celebrations are over, and it was actually pretty muted compared to previous years. But I think what we have to be mindful of is that China's still talking about trying to revamp their economy through a number of different measures. One is going to be trying to make things more affordable for the consumer. They haven't really detailed their plans on how they plan to do all this. But there sounds like more money is going to be injected into their economy in some manner. So, and then the other thing is that the news with Apple being able to or having to join with Baba in order to develop I think
AI and their
AI for their phones that are going to be sold in China. That is being viewed as kind of a win for China in term by some of their population. They're thinking, oh well, Apple, this American company that's been great and has all these billions in cash, is needing a Chinese company's help in order to bring it to market. It's not the case, but that's just what they're thinking. So you're getting investment from that side too, from the locals there.
Okay. Good stuff. We are just a couple of minutes till we open here. 3 minutes. Let me actually flip over to the main workspace.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah? No, I was just gonna say we can do whatever we want here until we open. So if there's anything you guys want to do, I'm open to it.
So we were getting asked about BBAI levels for that. Well, we broke through 10 in the pre-market here, and we were testing the next level I have, which is 1050. I got as high as 1049 this morning. If we break through that, the next level I have, actually I don't have any more levels above that. I'd have to look at my chart and see what's next, but we are just really breaking away here with BBAI. And then let's see, we could probably consider 11 even as the next level. And then I would say maybe 1165, 1160 after that. The highs that I have this going up to are 1612. Don't know that we'll get up there today, but it's possible. And as far as, and I already mentioned the levels for AIFF, there was one other ticker. It's BB BlackBerry. This has been
someone asked about that actually.
Yep, that's what I wanted to get to real quick. This thing is at 6 now. So the whole thought here that I was mentioning in happy hour, and I don't know if I mentioned here before, is that this has been going on a repeating pattern over the past 10 years. If you look at the monthly chart, every time that this stock price gets over the 20 and 50 month SMAs, it goes on a rally. And that rally can last, a matter of months, or it can last, longer than a year. But it goes on a bit of a sustained rally. You see some pullbacks, and then it ends up going higher. That happened in 2017. It happened in at the end of 2020, beginning of 2021. And it looks like we're about to have that happen now, because we just closed The daily candle yesterday just closed over that 50-month SMA. So we are now above that SMA. So I think we could see maybe a little bit of pullback here since we're so extended, but we should be starting to see some more upside here in BlackBerry, especially now that this is a cybersecurity stock and not a phone company.
Okay, good stuff there on BlackBerry. Real quick here, Tom, I did see your comment here. I saw our Matt Maley on CNBC yesterday. Nice. Yes, so did I. How awesome was that? By the way, when they put up the Chiron next to him and listing his things, did you notice how it said Benzinga stock picker? That was pretty cool. I was actually trying to take a screenshot, but it was on a different computer, and I was like, I can't do it fast enough. Pretty sweet, though. How lucky are we that Matt Maley comes and shares his expertise with us? We are open here, folks. And there was one more thing that I wanted to answer here, but I can't find it. Oh, AMOD. You guys are asking about AMOD. We covered AMOD earlier in the movers. We were not ignoring you, but that's why we weren't going to it. We had actually already talked about it. So, okay, we're open. Let's see what we got. One of the things that I had talked about earlier was going to be Reddit. I know that was down here. Let's see if this pulls here. I wouldn't be shocked if this actually tries to trade back up towards this 215. I don't know if it's going to go green, but given the performance that we've already seen here in the pre-market, looks like this is going to try and go higher. Watch Reddit today for a potential trade.
Yeah, so out of the gate here, don't see a whole lot to be excited about. Well, there's
MBRX penny stock that's going higher here, but to 13, to your point, I'm not really excited about that. This AMOD continues to run, but this is extended. So to your point, I'm not really excited about that either.
Yeah, BlackBerry sinking now that it hit 6. So there's some of the pullback that I was just mentioning, because this thing is already extended on the daily. So this isn't too surprising, but we should see some support, and hopefully this month closes above that 50-month SMA so we can get that rally. AMOD is actually printing higher now. 357 is the current high, looking to go higher. There it is, 58, 59, 60. We are ripping here with AMOD.
I feel like I'm just chasing. I feel like there's no trade here for me because I don't want to chase. You guys are looking at AIFF. We haven't looked at that yet here since we opened. Let's take a look at that. This has been one of the crazy movers recently.
Yep, sideways out of the open. It looks like it got some support at VWAP there at the beginning. We'll see how long that holds. We lose VWAP. This is probably going to come down to 15 and test that 65 EMA on the 5-minute. Okay, so hollow there that goes down. Not surprising to see that. AMOD so far
rip. The only direction it knows is up. LOL.
Jeez, this thing is.
I mean, it's crazy, dude. I don't even know what to make of it. Like, it's crazy. By the way, PLRX, this trading up out of the gate. TIGR, this is one that I actually traded yesterday. Didn't trade it out of the open, unfortunately, where it had a really huge move, but had a nice trade on it a little bit later in the day. Looks like we're starting to gear up here again, popping right out of the open. TIGR.
Great mention on PLRX. This thing, I just didn't even notice this, but it had a nice trend line break here out of the open. Really nice trend line breaking over the VWAP. Big wall of sellers at 347 that I can see. So let's see if it can get through that. And if it does, might go on another run. But really nice trend break there on PLRX going into the open.
Yeah, and a really good break out of its pre-market highs there as well. I see Tesla calls churning here across the wire. Lots of Tesla calls being bought. Tesla actually trading back up to the highs here after pulling a little bit out of the open. Watch this pre-market high level here on Tesla, 348 and change, maybe 349.
Thank you, Carmen. Our innovation. I've been
that's AUR. Wasn't that up today?
Yeah, it's they reported earnings.
Yep.
And this is the one that has the autonomous trucks that are going to be driving here in Texas. Looking forward to that. They've been trading up in a broadening wedge. So that's the thing that I've been noticing about this stock. Back above the 50-day SMA. So now that we've tested the bottom of this wedge, do we see this go to the top of it? Well, it's possible. And if that's the case, we're probably going to go over $10. So we'll see if that's what we get.
Mike, saw your question here earlier. Did Coinbase report yet, gents? Really good question. Should have gone to this more often. Here's your earnings chart for today. Coinbase is tonight. Tonight is the big night of the week here for earnings. Palo Alto, Coinbase, DraftKings. I guess you could throw Twilio in there as well. We are waiting on Coinbase tonight, Mike. Do you have a line on it by chance? Do you or an idea of what it's going to do at all? Let me know.
I put our Aurora Innovation stock, a daily chart in. I sent it to you via Slack. So if you wanted to, show the broadening wedge we're in here that I was just mentioning, you can give us that visualization.
Okay.
AIFF back down to VWAP. Not sure. Yeah, I still think this looks like it's going to head down to 15 if we lose that VWAP. So it looks like it. App coming in, PLRX. That might be setting up to go higher after it get some support, probably about 325, I would say. We'll have to see if that's what happens. BBAI, this thing going down.
Is this a daily chart that you have here on Aurora?
Yep.
July 2024. So right here. No. Here it is.
Yep.
Here it is. Here's your broadening wedge. Here's your broadening wedge.
Yep.
Got it. Just took a sec there.
And
then right here. Yep. Right down here, and then right up through all these bottoms.
Yep.
There's your broadening wedge on AUR.
You are. And what can happen is eventually, the price can fall out of this and then start trading to the downside. So this is not a bullish pattern. It's got bullish activity. It's going to bounce around as it goes up higher. But eventually, when we break this, the bottom end of this wedge, that's an indicator that there could be some more downside coming. All right. I'm kind of looking for something that's super interesting. And it looks like MBRX got halted, that one that you were mentioning earlier.
Reddit came into the VWAP here and is bouncing. If we reclaim 200 here on Reddit. Those are a bit spready.
Lightbridge really getting hammered today. I'm not seeing anything that's really jumping out.
Neither am I
yet.
Neither am I.
Smoke Tuna saying AMOD going for 480.
He did make that call, but that was just that. It felt like a chase to me. I didn't feel like that was a setup just for me. I mean, that's why I didn't take it. This is halted to the upside, isn't it?
Yes, it is. So we could see 480 out of this halt.
MBRX, AMOD, Yosh, and SOPA all halted here.
SOPA, huh?
Yep, SOPA halted to the upside, 534.
Wow.
Ryan, come on, Mullen.
Okay, so we are halted in SOPA up at the high that we put in yesterday morning. If we open higher than that, it looks like there's more resistance at 6 and then 675.
EDSA, you can watch this one here on EDSA.
Oh yeah, that's one of the ones we were looking at this morning. This one looks
right through 315 right there. Damn, I was pulling it up in my broker and I wasn't even fast enough. Good call on the Daniel. Nice job. I was too slow. Damn it.
This could be invalidating a potential head and shoulders pattern right now. We print 335. I think I'd say that's invalidated.
335 is your pre-market high too.
Mm-hmm.
VWAP here 305 on EDSA. It's coming back into that level.
Well, if this does come back in here and we start testing the 65 EMA, I don't know that I'd want to be messing with it, because it looks like it could roll over some more if it does that. But if we break that 335, then this thing is on a more of a bullish run.
Nice little VWAP bounce there. Didn't quite get down to that 305 VWAP, but what a bounce. Here's your 325. New high there up to 328. Again, 335 is the level we're looking for here on EDSA.
Hollow
stuff on this one.
hollowed down to some support area from the pre-market when we opened the pre-market this morning. We made some highs before we came in. It's down at that area, so could get some support from that. Getting asked about Intel here. This one had news about a potential merger. I'm sorry, not merger, joint venture. That's not the same thing. So joint venture with Taiwan Semiconductor.
So almost as if they're trying to fix our chip issue and keep them with American companies.
Could be a massive, massive lifeline to Intel.
Yep.
So that is trying to take 24 now. This is on a pretty good run. Let's take a look at some of these daily. Oh, what do you know? We have the 200-day SMA that we're approaching, and we are less than $1 away from that. So that's going to be 24.76, 24.75 that we're going to see that touch of the 200-day SMA. We're also very extended. I think we could see some resistance, maybe a little bit of a turnaround there.
Bros here lost its VWAP. Watch on a possible recapture there on Bros. See if this goes higher here. 85 prints earlier today. Just unreal move here on Bros. Stock is up 27%. AMOD is open. Oh my God, it almost went right to Smoke Tuna's 480 target. Printed 450. Tuna, man. You continue to do it. Almost right to the spot. I tell you, between you and 13, all we need to know is what the levels are.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's see if we start to get some rebound in these names that sold off this out of the gate here. It looks like BBAI is trying to recapture 10. BlackBerry's getting support from the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. I don't know that that's going to recover. AIFF trying to get back above VWAP as well. I'm not sure about app yet. PLRX, this looks like it's getting ready to make another move. If it continues to hold this area, we should see a break over 342. So that could be an interesting one there.
I just have penny stocks at the top of my list here. Hood looks like we put in an intraday reversal candle there. App trying to reclaim its VWAP. LITM, we feel like we've talked about that one, didn't we?
I'm not quite sure that AMOD is done. At the moment, it's got a bit of a neutral candle, but there's still a few minutes left in this candle for it to.
BBAI just took its VWAP there. Himax, this is earnings for HIMX. We're actually flagging here higher.
Yeah, Elon, Boeing probably going to be on a more sustained move up.
Oh my God, EDSA. Whoever was in that, please tell me you trimmed into that pop. I was not in that, but man, oh man, that volume stick took us above the level that we were looking at. This thing popped as high as 377. It's come in off that level. I hope I'm ringing the register for you folks here, because that pop was insane. I would have for sure lightened up into that one. Good stuff, EDSA. In fact, I'm going to give you guys preemptive register rings.
I'm starting to get some recovery in some of these names. I mean, EDSA, that was a great move. Waiting for some of these other ones to do something similar.
You guys were just talking about Boeing here recently. I think you guys should all give a nice little pat on the back to our Staff Sergeant Ryan here, who is always looking at Boeing and had a really amazing call when Boeing came back into the 200 here. We took a look at that together. We held the 200, started to move away. This thing, to my eye here, 192 absolutely seems to be the next stop. And I wouldn't be shocked if this thing tested 200.
Carol, Jesse, well done on your. They were in EDSA.
Register ring.
Yeah, so you're talking about Boeing hitting the 500-day SMA.
Yeah, I think that to me is the next stop for sure. But I wouldn't even be surprised if we tried to test 200 on this move up.
I have a feeling that Boeing is kind of in recovery mode right now, and this could end up going beyond 200. I don't know how long it's going to take, but it looks like this is because I've outlined the broadening wedge in this thing that's been going on since the beginning of 2023. I still feel like if it does have this sustained recovery, we are going to see higher into the 200s, maybe even 300. Don't know how long that's going to take, but it looks like that's the trajectory it's on, especially following this golden cross we had earlier this month.
EDSA right back to that 377 spot. Daniel, I know it was too fast for you to do right there, but you don't
MBRX.
necessarily even need to hit that top. Sorry, which one?
MBRX.
That's the penny stock, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Real quick here, I wanted to mention Jay Rice. This is actually kind of serendipitous, mentioning Grail here. This is what the blood cleaning, blood testing.
Yes.
So it's funny, Jay Rice, one of our other happy hour members who lives in Scottsdale, not far from you, is big on this one and is actually invested in a competitor product that's private. It's been in this one for a while. This has been huge. There might be more room here on Grail.
It's like a blood cancer testing kind of thing. By the way, did we mention SOPA?
We did. We mentioned that it was unhalted. EDSA new highs, guys, 394.
It's not unhalted. It's halted. SOPA is halted. This might be the second one if you were talking about it being halted previously or unhalted.
This is the first one.
Oh, I thought you said it was unhalted. I'm sorry.
No, we talked about this being halted. I mentioned Yosh, SOPA, and AMOD were all halted.
Okay.
And it has not unhalted yet.
I thought you said the other thing. Never mind. I'm sorry. That was my mistake.
Hey, Ryan Milligan, easy money on that Reddit rebound. What did we say earlier when we're taking a look at that? What did we say earlier? Well done. In fact, register ring for you. Ryan, a staff sergeant. I love that we've got like a ton of Ryans in here. We got a bunch of little kings all up in here. You know I like that. Take that, 13. Boeing there, staff sergeant.
Just a number.
Up 115% on those Boeing calls, plus 120%. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, sorry, blood cancer testing. I think I said blood cleaning. I'm sorry, Rich. I made a mistake. But thankfully, I've got 13 here to keep me in line. And interestingly enough, Reddit went right to that 205 pre-market high and stopped there. Watch for that to break higher here. Same thing on EDSA, where it looks like we're going to be testing 4 here. Volume is still expanding on EDSA also.
App looks like this wants to try and take out 525. Volume needs to be better, but it's curling back up. Or well, not necessarily curling back up, but it's rebound off the low it made 500. It rebounded off 500. Now it's trying to trade back up. So volume needs to expand a little bit more, but it looks like it's trying to go for 525. So MBRX now halted again. AIFF trying to recapture VWAP. Same thing with Hollow.
EDSA printed 404 and then pulled here. AMOD pulled off that 450 spot. Tuna, let me know if you think this is done yet. It looks like this is bouncing. Would you be entirely shocked if this took out 450 and went to your 480 target that you had? Because this, I know it didn't quite print VWAP, but boy, oh boy, did it get close on that pullback. Any thoughts on a trade desk rebound? That's a good question. It's a good question here. Trade desk down 31, almost 32%. I mean, here's the thing. Could this rebound? Yeah, let's take a look at the daily just to see how far this thing has fallen. Man, oh man, big move down here. Here's what I'll say. Let's let this confirm a bottom. Sorry, I'm doing too many things here.
No worries.
Let me finish this off, 13. Trade desk here. Look where we are. Look at the move down. Now, let's use we went right to it's adjusting here. Look at where we are volume shelf-wise. We're also beneath all of these moving averages. So one of the things that I want this stack to do is to confirm a bottom. Then we can talk about trading it. I wouldn't put 77 out of the question here if it continues to pull. Let me go back to the main one. We'll go back to what you're looking at, 13.
Yeah, it was just AMOD was starting to make another move. It went up to, what is this high? 429. Really trying to get up to that 480 price target, but they keep putting these sellers in front of it. See, Smoke Tennessee is AMOD making a new high.
Yep.
And there it is. Or I was trying to just a second ago, but
No, I have it at 450.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. On my broker, I have this to 459. I'm sorry, 13. I did not. Interesting. My 1 minute didn't show that. That must have been fast.
It was pretty quick. It was pretty quick.
Bros might be trying for an 85 breakout here on Bros. Boy, I tell you what, when these stocks go, the momentum just carries them.
EDSA 404 coming back in. Let's see here. SMCI breaking down. Color me shocked. Let's see. So SOPA, is this gonna? Either this has just really lost its volume, or it's gonna halt. No, it's just really lost its volume.
Smoke Tuna, this was such a good call on Ahmad. Look at this, right to his level, 497. Smoke Tuna, man. I should have followed you on that one. Felt like I was chasing from the open here. We're going to halt here, 497, Ahmad.
501.
Unreal.
501 is the 65 EMA, daily EMA on Ahmad. After that, we have 200 EMA. That's up at 827. That could be another upside target. Let's see if there's anything before that.
Well, I didn't hit AMOD here today like I hit AIFF, but I'm glad that you folks did. Smoke Tuna, just an absolutely masterful job here so far. Masterful job.
Archer is getting mentioned by Kevin Robinson. This thing is kind of just back and forth a lot these days, but it should eventually make a move out of this consolidation that it's been kind of trading in.
I think long term, this has got some potential in Archer.
Yeah, I think the 50-day SMA is going to be one thing to really watch with this, because it has been getting a lot of support from that simple moving average. So if we lose that, this thing could come right back down to 7 or 690.
Win appearing on the relative volume scanner. They report earnings tonight, folks. WYNN. INOD on the relative volume scanner. This thing ripping, looking like it's going to try and take 50 on INOD. Look at this move.
Jeez. What was the price we started picking this up at?
$3.
I don't want to fuck that anymore. I mean, we had great trades in it. It was a really big maker.
I traded this from 3 to 9 and then from like 7 to 12. And I was like, yeah, I did it.
But man, that thing just kept going, didn't it?
Kept going. This is why some of these trades, like, it's different for some of these day trades, but for some of these swing trades, when I hit one of them, I am going to try very, very hard, especially this year, to leave trailer pieces on. I'm going to try to trade with enough size that I can leave trailer pieces on and not care about them. And then when they go to 50 or when they 10X, I'm going to be like, yes, we did it. Sergeant Sexy, Win is a long-term hold of mine. Yeah, I've been following Win for a long time. I like that stock a lot. AIFF getting mentioned here. I don't really see it on my scanner. Let's take a look at AIFF, see what it's doing. EDSA might be trying to go back to the highs.
Yeah, AIFF is trying to turn around here. Volume needs to be better, and it needs to recapture VWAP still. Getting a lot of mentions here. I'll look at Intel for some crazy levels. Though I think it's good to temper expectations for that, because this is not like these movers that can just easily get to those. This float's much heavier. It's got 4.3 billion shares. So I'm not saying it couldn't get to these stupid levels, but there's a less likely chance that it will. The earliest one I see is going to be the 200 EMA on the daily, which is at $25.
Serve ripping here. Nice little reversal and serve.
All right. Looks like PLRX is trying to get back above 330. It's above VWAP again. and that was the pre-market high before we opened here. That was 330. So we just need more volume in this thing. If we get the volume, this thing could go higher than 342. But I think there's some big suppression happening at 330 until we get the volume. AppLovin coming back up here. Another one that's a little bit heavy. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. Crocodile Dumb B. Win may be up because MGM blew out their earnings yesterday. I believe Las Vegas Sands also beat earnings and traded up. So I think your relationship trading there, I think you might have Win positive there. I don't know. I don't have a position for it, but maybe I'll look into that.
Well, on that note about Las Vegas Sands, we're getting a mention with DraftKings, and that just broke over a trend line. And it still needs to get higher than the price from December, but we're not that far away, and we won't have too many resistance levels beyond that, because then we'll be getting into some prices back from 2021. That's a good trend break. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. DKNG getting mentioned here, and then Jay with a really good piece of advice that I try to live by here. DraftKings, remember, they report earnings tonight, so they're trading up ahead of their earnings. Jay here saying from Twitter, some words of advice. Missing trades will not make you broke, but chasing trades can. And again, this kind of goes with, I know Ahmad, I know I missed it and it sucks, but it felt like to me when I was first looking at it, like, hey, you're chasing here. I might not want to do that. It ended up working, but to Jay, to your point here, how many times have we chased before and gotten slapped? I think that's pretty sound advice there.
I saw folks mentioning GRR, G-R-R.
Yeah, that's right.
This is pretty close to the pre-market high, but volume isn't great. But if it does expand, that could take it over that pre-market high and go higher. But we need to see better volume than this. Well, looks like we're just waiting for some things to make their moves or their setups. Okay, well, here is Intel with some more upside price action. 25 is that next resistance level.
CSAI, this was halted, just opened up and is pulling out of the halt. Here's your Intel. Oh my God. I mean, this was such a good recommendation at 19.
Mm-hmm.
This was such a good recommendation at 19.
Maybe we could ask your friend if was that the news that was coming, the TSM joint venture.
I can reach out and ask. Because Bros did take 85, guys. Oh my God.
I mean, he's been right. You know, your friend, he's been right.
Yep.
Yeah, he said there's some big news coming in Intel, and so far he has not been wrong about that.
Nope. And his next pick, by the way, was Archer. So look, there's no guarantee that these things are going to work. I'm just telling you what I hear.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I see a bunch of sellers at 2450 in Intel, so there might be some short-term resistance until it gets through that. But yeah, it's looking like it's really making a move for 25.
EDSA, you might be getting a curl here.
Got to take out that 380. You know, for as ugly as those upper shadows look in the past 2 5-minute candles, it's you know, still holding up pretty well.
Yeah, sure is.
MBRX no longer a penny stock now, but it looks like it's about to halt again after it unhalted and popped up over $1, and it's halted there. So there's that. Learn what Moses wants to see Archer chart, and then Diamond Hotline, you're asking about what about EDSA here? Well, I just mentioned how those upper shadows, look a little scary here, so we could see some rolling over in this if we don't take out those, that 409 high.
Jay Rice giving you some trade ideas here. Should have put this in there. 4 pair trade ideas for tonight. DraftKings off the MGM results. PanW off Cyber. I like PanW. I think it beats tonight. Roku off TTD and Coin off Hood. The Coin one, that's an interesting one too. I think I kind of like that too, Jay. EDSA could not quite get above that area. Pull back here. We'll see if this goes again. Here's your Archer chart as this continues to trade higher here.
Let's see. Yeah, I think for me, it's just going to be holding that 50-day SMA because that looks super important. It really does. All the price action we've been getting since this month started, we need to start moving away from that to the upside.
Oscar Health here yesterday. We had this accused of misusing NSA to delay payments. The Capital Forum posts on X, Oscar Health accused of misusing No Surprises Act to delay payments, underpaying CA Health Systems. Oscar here down 5.7%.
I'm being asked for some crazy, stupid, dumb levels for MBRX. So starting with the daily, you have the 65 EMA at 180, and you have the 200 EMA at 321. Not sure we'll see the 200 EMA, but we have a very good chance of seeing that 180 print, that 65 EMA, because there's also a good amount of consolidation right there. So that could be the supply zone that keeps it from going up much higher, but seems like 180 is possible. Don't think we have very many. Yeah, everything else is just ridiculously high after that. So I would say 180 is next. How about that? MBRX is fun, it says Sideshow. I'm glad you're having a good time with it. Hopefully you're also making money. I'm sure you are.
Ahmad back on here.
Look at Intel. We are beelining for 25. AMOD that hit 6. Now it's coming back in. This looks like this could be a bad candle.
See if it holds 5. A lot of stuff here today. Love it, guys. Love it. Hood maybe bouncing off of its low. Upstart more on Upstart. How happy must David Prince be? We talked to him on Tuesday. He said he loved Upstart.
Looks like now what's interesting about BBAI is that it seems like it really does get a whole bunch of buyers to step in at about 975. I don't know that that's going to hold up if they keep getting hammered, but it looks like they're trying to recapture 10 and VWAP right now. Just something I'm seeing here in BBAI. The buyers seem to step in at about that level I mentioned, the 975 area. You see what I'm talking about there?
Reddit go. Sorry, I was reading the chat. Barat saying Reddit going green. Boy, we called that one here today too, didn't we? Reddit, awesome. Reddit closing that gap up and possibly going green here. 207. Look for that, man. Oh man, Reddit.
Robert Smith mentioning GUR again. It's pretty close to that pre-market high. The spread is a little concerning. BDAI is on the doorstep of that VWAP, looking to recapture it.
UPS trade finally working. Let's go.
Kind of just looking around here.
Yeah, so am I. This is not as, I don't feel as active or as plentiful of plays as I did yesterday.
Yeah, I was mentioning earlier that this movers look pretty dry, so this isn't surprising. It's not what we wanted to see, but we're going to try. And if things are going to be feeling forced, we shouldn't try those trades. So don't try to force anything in days like this where things are, slow or looking weak. They are really bringing in some sellers to protect 10 from the bulls and BBAI.
Yes, Jacob. I see MBRX as being halted.
Again? Or is this
Yeah.
the same one?
No, this is the 5th halt.
Okay. So I guess out of this next halt, we may see that 180 level. And then we could just sell right off.
I am not in this one, MBRX.
All right. The bulls just took 10 in BBAI.
Let's see.
That's time to see if they can hold that and take it higher. Tariffs are being delayed, says John.
I see CNBC is saying that there's a press conference here at 1 p.m.
Okay. And I hope I pronounced your name correctly.
At 1 p.m. Eastern. This is a live report from Eamon Javers, literally outside the White House right now. BBAI above 10 now.
Mm-hmm. And if this continues to go, it looks like this may make a little bit of a run for 1025. 1025, 1020, 1025.
Okay. Palo Alto, look for a 200 test here on Palo Alto.
Intel is not too far away from 25. We hit 2483. A little bit of a pull here, but we're still making our way up. Looks like the bears are pushing BBAI down beneath 10 again. See how long that holds. EDSA is possibly losing VWAP here.
I have it coming into VWAP on my broker. Let's see what it looks like on TradingView.
It was trading just beneath it briefly. It looks like it's trying to rebound now. So we need to see some better volume in this to help reverse it. Otherwise, the sellers could really pull this thing down some more.
Ron's asking thoughts on Joby. Joby competitor with Archer there. I think I like Archer more, but that's still in that eVTOL space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think because they do have some deals. So I think Joby's going to be just fine too, but I like Archer better. All right, so BBAI getting pushed down big time now, approaching some of these lows we have here in the regular session. See if we can get a little bit of a rebound on that. AIFF has been going sideways. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. This EDSA, it's trying to hold its VWAP here. I have it at 331. Looks like it's 327 here in TradingView. On the 331 level, we got some wicks down to it, but not really bouncing with strength here. Really needs to get back above 350 on EDSA.
It's that volume. Got to get it. Got to get that volume.
Jay, regarding your short interest question there, I have 36.88% as of the February 11th report date. So yes, I think that jives. Also worth noting, 1.13 days to cover.
Okay, so you were just mentioning the short interest. Yeah, I see that's really significant. So it's only been increasing. It's been increasing all year so far. So it went from, it doubled as soon as we started. And it's probably because it's, pretty extended as well. So I think the shorts just kind of piling into this thing because they don't believe it belongs up here. They may not be considering the Palantir or Palantir competitor angle like we are, but man, the more the float shorted increases, bigger the squeezes could be. I think there needs to be this thing is going to probably get really hammered once the whole AI bubble bursts, like this super hammered. But we'll see. All right, so AIFF lost that key $15 level just now. See if it can recapture before this candle's over. Oh, it just went right back above it. So
MBRX is open, by the way.
All right, MBRX, and there's
190. Yep.
190. So what happens now? Does it reverse and go lower? No.
It's going to halt right here. 191. Yep. Another halt. This is going to be your 6th halt. MBRX.
All right. Well, looks like we have a consolidation channel that we just pushed through. Man. So we're actually on the top of it. So if we open and we start and we keep going up, there's another consolidation channel that starts at about 230, and the majority of it, the top end of it, is going to be at about 280, 285. So we could look at that consolidation level as the next area of resistance, and then beyond that, you have the 200 EMA, which is at 321.
Tesla took out 350 here. That's trying to push higher. Yeah, I'm missing out on this MBRX, but that's okay. I mean, I know it's ripping here, but just an insane amount of halts.
Yeah, you're going to get an insane amount of halts to the downside at some point too.
Yeah,
we've seen this movie before.
Yep. EDSA is trying to bounce off that VWAP here on EDSA.
Yeah, I haven't traded MBRX either, so and I don't want to. I've missed it. That's fine. There's plenty of other things to trade. Maybe not as wild as MBRX, but there's that whole thing about risk.
Yeah.
PLRX actually looks like this is going to try and take out the high. It just moved over. What is this? 335. Looking for that 342 break to the upside, the high that we put in out of the open.
Yep.
Looks like EDSA is trying to turn around as well.
God, big turnaround. What a bounce. Yeah, what a bounce on that. I'm too slow to that one too.
But this is just a VWAP rebound. I don't know how sustained this could be, but it could get back up to 4. So now we just need to see if AppLovin can hold up above VWAP here. It does look like it may roll over just based on the way the MACD looks, but we get some better volume expansion, we could go higher.
Carol, that's not a bad buy there at EDSA at 340, just kind of looking at this. I'm still thinking this PLRX might go here too. Nice job, Jane, on your day being made on GUR right there. Let's go, Jane.
Excellent. Oh, look at that move to just under 28. That was great. Great job. And EDSA, that's still trying to push up. So it seems, Carol, you picked up EDSA just as it was bouncing off that VWAP for this third time. Great pickup.
Yeah, I was going to say that's what, when we talk about confirming, holding some of these points, that's kind of what I'm talking about. Really good job there.
And when you look at a 5-minute chart, you can see that this rebound that the current candle that we're in, that was the third time it rebounded off of the or found support from VWAP. So to your point about confirmation, that's a pretty good one right there. Pretty good confirmation of rebounding off of that 3 times off the VWAP. Buyers are there. All right, so Intel finally weakening a little bit here after hitting 2483. Looks like it's got a date with VWAP, maybe even lower. I don't like the way the MACD is starting to look. AMOD still hanging up here around or just under 5. Looks like it could try and make another push over 5. Don't know how successful it'll be, but it looks like it's trying.
EDSA. Congrats to all of you that took that one.
Excellent.
Way to go.
Looks like it's still trying for 4.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Like I got little Jay Rice again, right here. Don't chase. Don't chase this move. You were looking at it curling. You had it, but don't chase it. You can go broke. Thank you, little J Rice.
I appreciate this question because where would I pull the plug? She's not asking for, where do I sell or anything. She's just asking where I would do it. So here's what I would do with EDSA. Let me take a look here. Because man, we are blowing through some of these crazy levels. I have to think that you're probably going to want to maybe sell into the strength as we get it closer to 420.
Looks like, sorry to interrupt here, but it looks like some people just did that. EDSA, they sold into that move right to the high. This thing's pulling here.
Yeah, just look at, because when you look at to the left here, you can see where some of these previous lows were back from last year. Those are going to be areas where I'd be looking to take profit, those areas. So the earliest would have been, like 390. Got another one that looks like 4 even would be a good spot.
Yeah.
410, and then the big one, 420. So just 10 cents as you go up there, maybe the best way to kind of scale out of this thing, because once you get up to 420, there's just a ton of consolidation in there that would really worry me. So this thing got as high as 4. Now, as long as we don't break down here, it could try and push higher. But it needs, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say it is pulling here. So what I'm wondering, 13, is, you're talking about it breaking down. Does it hold one of these levels and set us up again? That's kind of what I'm looking for.
I'd like to see it.
Nice job, Jacob. Look at that. 346 to 391. Sorry, 13.
Perfect. I'd like to see 355 hold up. That's where I would want to see it hold up. I'm not in this one anymore, but that's where I'd like to see it get that support. PLRX, that's almost at the intraday high here. As a matter of fact,
is that going to break out here? PLRX?
It tested it already, and if it does, it's going to need more volume to get up to 350.
Well, now, isn't this what we saw on EDSA, right? Because I'm looking at that. Yeah, we did, right? This really popped when that broke that 335 area here before. So I'm wondering if you get the same type of big pop here on PLRX if you take this out on volume. To your point here, we'd actually start to be putting in an expanding volume chart if we get a big volume pop here. Stock is up 25% though, so keep that in mind too.
EDSA starting to pull, coming down to that 355.
336 is VWAP.
Yep. Trying to rebound.
Yorkie Lab says he took his cash and ran.
Yeah. Make sure you have your stops in these names that we're trading here, especially these low float ones. But still trying to hold up, still trying to make 355 a level here.
PLRX, it is testing this. Wow, there's got to be an iceberg order going on here at 342. I'm actually watching this in my broker, and I see prints. There we go. Now it's starting to pick up there, but it can't take it out, and they continue to refresh here. I will say if they break this, maybe this does pop, but they got to break it first.
It needs a big order to take out all those sellers all the way up to 350. We're going to need some, a lot more buyers.
They just took 342. There we go. So now we're going to start marching up here. 347 had a little bit of size on that.
MBRX unhalted, popped to 215, and then started selling off. And it closed, or it halted right at that same spot that the previous candle halted at. Now it's halted to the downside. We could see some more selling in MBRX at this point. Looks like Big Bear AI, BBAI. That's
BBAI?
Still holding that at the 975 area.
Let's see what we got here. App. Is anyone shorting any of these big movers yet?
PLRX broke. Up.
Yep. I'm actually at that point now, PLRX 323-ish area for a potential reload. And actually on EDSA, that pulled back here, but didn't quite print the VWAP. It is trying to bounce. That might not be done yet. PLRX popped up there.
At 355 in EDSA, that's the level that they're trying to defend.
Bros, back to VWAP. What do we think here on Bros? I think we hold VWAP and maybe make another move higher here.
Let's take a look at Bros. If we lose VWAP, then the 65 EMA has already provided support out of the open this morning. So I would be looking at that as the next area.
Yeah, I think you're right there. 13 EDSA continuing here back to the highs or curling back up towards the highs. Sorry.
Call a support area in Bros 8150. You can see that was a breakout and support level. Both after the earnings print and in the pre-market here. Mark off 8150. You can see what I'm talking about.
Let me get the horizontal rate tool out here. 8150?
Yeah, 8150. You can also hit Alt H to just quickly put the.
That's the horizontal line, I think.
Yes.
Alt H. I'm looking for the horizontal ray.
Okay.
I'm a stickler like that. 13. 8150. Here you go.
Yeah. So just look at what all the price action in the pre-market and after hours, and that's a. Well, I'd want it to stretch all the way across in the pre-market so you can see the price action. And Bros, here we are with reversal.
So I did need the horizontal line, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, idiot. I told you, and you just wouldn't listen to me.
Your words, not mine.
Look, I'm having fun, man. 8150, right?
Yeah. Well, there's EDSA that defended at 355, and it's pushing up into 4, trying to chew that up. God.
PLRX still up at the highs too. Carol sold EDSA at 390. You are killing it, Carol.
Yep. That $4 area is really putting in some resistance, but they're chewing it up.
PLRX grinding higher still.
So if it breaks $4, and you have that 410 and 420 area to deal with, but it's looking like 390 might have been the best move at this point until they take out like that.
Oh, there we go.
But look at what happened. It came right back in.
Yeah. You have to be fast on those.
Okay. So
but man, this is given multiple trades here today.
Yeah. So let's see if that consolidation area. So I would have, so if I was trading this, I would have been all out at 420.
Where's Big B's?
I just don't know about that consolidation area that I was outlining earlier.
Big B's, are you here? Because hot damn, Big B's, your call on HIMS at like 40 something, 44. We are 11 points higher now. Nihar is saying that there is a short squeeze going on here, and actually,
in which one? There's a lot of stocks that have high short interest.
In HIMS, and honestly, I think he might be right. 30+% of the float shorted with 5 days to cover. The stock is up almost 19% here. Look at the HIMS chart. Keep losing my shading here. Let me get it back. Well, just an unreal move here on HIMS. I should have followed Big B's on this. What a move.
App looks like this may end up going lower. MACD is starting to curl over.
Okay, so that's another one of the big movers on earnings. Where are we at here in the app? Okay, so I see. Okay, so we're holding higher here. You think it might come in back? Gotcha.
Yeah,
a lot of stuff is nuts.
Yeah, it may go under 500 for a little bit. I don't know how low it's going to go because that 65 EMA is just about 493. So that could be a support area, as it's been a support area all pre-market and leading into the open. Wow, EDSA went to 449, and then now it's trying to hold above 4.
EDSA wild action too.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone got a setup? This is what happens to me. when we have these days where we see things that are moving around, there are definitely some tradable targets here today, and I've missed a couple of them. I've been a little slow on a couple of them. After a while of that, I start to get this feeling like, come on, Ryan, get back into the game. And I'm looking, I'm like, I want to trade, and I'm trying to tell myself anyway, to wait for the best possible setup. So I don't really see anything great.
I think, sorry to interrupt you, but I think PLRX might be turning around and coming in. You can draw a trend line from all the highs that we've made in the pre-market and the regular session, and then you start doing that with all the lows. You'll realize we have a rising wedge here we could easily fall out of. So we may be topping out here. Now, if we get some support around 325 that pulls us back up, we could break out. But I would lean more on the we have a rising wedge here, and we could be going lower. Yeah, pretty much that. That's something I'd be cautious with PLRX here.
I sold all my HIMs for a 55% gain last week. Well, you did pretty well. I know it continues to go here. Tesla short look here. Was just looking at Tesla. Tesla has been strong all market session here. Lots of buying volume, totally dwarfing the selling volume. And actually, I'm seeing Tesla call flow roll through here. There's a little bit of puts there, but there's a lot of, you know what? I actually don't have one of my filters applied here. Let me do that.
BBAI really coming in now. It looks like 925 is the next support level.
Tesla 400 calls. Someone bought a 500 block of those. Tesla up 5.5% here. Maybe you do get a pullback to you're 7 points away from the VWAP, so maybe. But man, oh man, it's strong. That is strong. And Tesla's actually recently been on a kind of like a downswing. So maybe it's starting to firm up a little bit here. EDSA 420.
Coming back up. It was going under 4 for a moment there.
Rick is asking if HIMS has any juice left. That's the $64,000 question. I mean, they've got a GLP-1 angle, they've got a hair loss angle, they've got an ED angle. So they
Yeah, I don't think any of those angles matter except for the weight loss one.
Yeah, it just feels extended again, kind of like going back to our day trade here. It almost feels like a chase after a huge move like that. Anyway, not a terrible day, just not a very active day here today.
Yeah,
at least for me. I know you guys seem to have done a better job than myself today, which is okay.
I would have liked to have more trade up, but it hasn't been
Me too.
a bad day.
Me too.
Let's see what we get.
TEM went crazy today, Sparsy Marcy. You know what's funny about that is that didn't we catch a downgrade yesterday? Look at this TEM. Should have hung on to this one too. I did actually trade this one, but I'm out already. And I did, not only did I trade this one, I actually made money off this one. This has the Pelosi push going here. Yeah, we did. We caught a downgrade here from William Blair yesterday. That didn't even matter. And today, Tempest collaborates with IFLI, aimed for development of targeted therapies for follicular lymphoma patients.
Yeah, Michael, I saw that too. Tesla sold $400 million of armored Cybertrucks to the State Department. EVs, armored EVs.
What happens when you try to run them through a car wash? Don't they brick?
I mean, can they make it up hills? Like I think that's just ridiculous. I think like an armada of Cybertrucks rolling up with operators in them, that would look pretty sick. I just don't know how effective that's going to be. Yeah, they just haven't really proven to me to be a better alternative than just the regular ICE vehicles.
Yeah, I agree.
There's just too many problems, too many question marks with them right now. Okay.
They are bulletproof. Yeah, and Camp is saying I don't think that's real. You know what? I'm not sure if it is either. And actually, when I first saw the headline, I didn't really dig into it, and I kind of just chuckled, thinking maybe that's a joke.
so many things wrong. What with the Cybertruck? I mean, if that's what you're saying, I mean, is it if you're saying it is okay, so it is nonsense. All right, well, okay, yeah, because I thought it was kind of ridiculous.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
glad to hear
like
I'm
I
not
said,
alone.
my initial reaction, chuckle.
Oh, just a potential thing. Gotcha. Have we figured out how much of Musk's wealth comes from the taxpayer? Not the exact number, but I think I would be safe in saying too much.
Less than the politicians before him. So
Yeah.
don't really care, frankly.
Wow. Look at the opportunity in BBAI. It didn't go quite down to 925, but what a reversal.
EDSA pulling here. I tell you what, let's see what happens if this does get to the VWAP. I don't want to make too early of a call here, but if this pulls back to the VWAP, this might actually be done. Well, maybe if it breaks the VWAP anyway.
Robert, I do remember that. And I remember the hesitant look on his face. Well, not his face, but the back of his head. Because he kind of just stood there like, oh, that was hilarious.
TEM, this actually looks like this might go higher. By the way, PLRX, that is pulling back to the VWAP. We might get a setup here, PLRX. Let's see if this holds VWAP. We broke out of that ascending wedge that you had me draw, but I'm almost wondering if we find any type of support at the VWAP.
It's going to back test it. I would assume that would be my thought on how this is going to trade. It's going to back test the bottom of that wedge, and then it's going to go lower.
I must have drawn the wedge differently then.
No. I think that's just fine. I think that's just fine. Let it come back up. It's going to probably test like 340, and then it should roll over some more.
I see. So maybe a bounce from the VWAP to the bottom end of the wedge, and then a roll. I got you. I'm with you on that. Okay. And EDSA, all I had to do was talk about it. That's starting to bounce here. EDSA. It's just unreal, dude.
I mean, the folks that traded this, I think they got out of this really at a really good time. Yeah. I don't know that this is going to how much higher this is going to go, because it doesn't seem like the volumes really come back quite yet. You know, it could. Big level is going to be 4 again. That's the level I see.
SMCI, pretty decent reversal here. Nice Besnaldo. Sorry, mixed that one up. We'll see if SMCI 41 maybe. It struggled with this level yesterday. Yeah, struggled with 41 here yesterday. So that would be another level I'd want to see it take out here. I'm still not thrilled with SMCI. Oh, and by the way, on PLRX, while we're talking about that, one of the reasons this is kind of interesting, if you look at the daily chart here, look at this gap. Let me turn the volume off here. Look at this gap that we could potentially be in. And so I could see trying to play this for like a gap fill, not saying it's going to do that, but I can see this being a particular setup here. I'm kind of watching this.
No, Carmen, I didn't catch that, but oh man,
kids say the damnedest things, don't they?
They sure do. Gotta love them.
I do think it's funny. His kid loves to ride around on his shoulders. I feel like every picture I see, he's on his shoulders. Let's see what else we got moving around here. Apple, that might be coming back to the highs. VIX, quick checking on the VIX here, 1539. So I know we popped a little bit in the VIX earlier, but that thing is melting some more now. EDSA maybe curling here again. We'll watch PLRX here at this VWAP. I'm curious to see what happens there.
Getting asked about AMOD. That's, this looks like it's going to go lower. MACD's showing that it's crossing to the downside. It's really having a hard time holding up the VWAP. It looks like this is going lower, AMOD.
AMOD, okay.
Yeah. Looks like, I don't want to say it's coming back. It's getting that support. This is APP. It's getting that support from the pre-market that we were talking about down at was just under 500. So we could see some the rebounding here in APP, but it still needs to recapture that VWAP as well. So I don't know if we're able to do anything with MBRX at this point, because it's just, these halts are longer than the actual time that the stock trades. So we had another unhalt. It gapped up, went to 248, and then started selling again, and now we're into a selling halt. So if you're able to catch any price action on that, congratulations. That's not for me.
PLRX looks like it might actually be bouncing off or trying to off that VWAP. Here you go.
Yeah. So let's see if we get that back test now.
Only 10 cents away. Man, oh man, I actually couldn't even get filled. I tried at 326, didn't get a fill. Again, a little bit too slow. See, here's the thing though. Like when this happens to me, when I was younger, well, when I was had less experience trading, I should say, this would bother me, and then I would keep trying to go after it. And now I've just kind of learned to back up a little bit. I'm slow on a number of these. This trade would have worked. I'm slow on a number of these, but I'm not going to let that affect the rest of my day.
Do I think BDAI is going to bounce and go back up? If it's going to do that, it's gotta reverse at 925, or sooner. I think if we lose 925, we're going to probably end up seeing 8 again. So I don't want to make a prediction that we're going to see it reverse. I think it's probably going to head lower, just based on the current price action. But 925 would be the earliest support that I see.
Does anybody follow IPOs quickly? I'm seeing on CNBC here, SailPoint, ticker SAIL, is going to IPO today, $23 a share. I don't know where it's going to open at. Does anyone follow that? Does anyone know what the line is on SAIL? SAIL, SailPoint? Just kind of a random question.
What is this company all about?
Yeah, let me see if Pro's got information on it already. Let's see. SailPoint. Yeah, we've got no chart. Here we go. SailPoint. Okay, so price indicating 26 a share on 1 million shares. It was priced at 23, which was the high end of the range. SailPoint delivers solutions to enable comprehensive identity security. So this is in the cybersecurity theme. I'm going to have to hang on a sec. By the way, 342, that PLRX, now I am pissed. We'll go back to that here in a sec. I just have to add this to my list here of cybersecurity. By unifying the identity data across systems and identity types, including employee identities, non-employee identities, and machine identities. Its SaaS and customer-hosted offerings leverage intelligent analytics to give organizations critical visibility into which identities currently have access to which resources. Okay, so this is definitely a cybersecurity angle here on sale. We'll keep an eye on that. Let me go back to this PLRX 13 because hot damn, dude. It did exactly what you were looking for this to do. Actually, look at that, dude. Look at that. Look at that.
So the next step is to watch and see if it should. I mean, it should reverse here if we're still bearish on this. Otherwise, it's going to find itself right back in that channel. But I think that at some point it's going to have to turn around after trying to attempt to get back into this wedge. So that's what I'd be looking for here.
Wasn't SailPoint brought out a few years ago? Jay, if it was, I don't know about that. I mean, it's set to IPO right now. Today.
I think he's referring to how there's like a whole set of a series of news going back to 22, like 2022 and 23. SailPoint Technologies, is that what this?
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's the same company or not, but I can see what he's talking about. Because this is
I'm just telling you, I don't know. Trailing Paw here says Sail is an identity and access management solution. We are using it. Do you like it, Trailing Paw? Can you give us anything on that?
Yes, your boots on the ground. Please tell us. Looks like EDSA trying to get back into 4, but man, it is having a hard time hanging out in 4. Just look at all the price action right up.
Buzz Lightyear. Sorry for interrupting you, 13. Buzz Lightyear. Yes, this was taken out. It was then taken private, and now it's relisting. Well, make up your damn mind. Thank you, Buzz. Did say thank you, David. So I see the CEO Mark McClain on CNBC right now, but I don't have volume, obviously. But he said this is that they did say this is the second IPO. It was a big Kramer stock. See, always go to the community when you need. I did not know about this company. Call me an idiot, whatever. I was not familiar with this, and you folks have already raised the tide for me. Toma Bravo did sale point in 2022. Okay. PLRX continuing watch for a 350 breakout. That was your high earlier on PLRX, by the way.
Wow, it got back in that wedge.
I'll tell you what, if it pops 350, it might go to the top end of that wedge, 13.
It is looking a little, kind of reversal-ish with those
reversal-ish.
I don't know how else to describe it, but you start putting these up, these wicks in the top of these things. It looks like it could turn around here, especially that last candle we just did. But it's still pushing up. So who am I to argue against the trend? I still think it should turn around and go lower.
S&P futures at the highs, SPY at the highs, Dow higher, NASDAQ at the highs.
Well, I guess we're almost...
Wackadoodle says, I'd rather listen to Kramer from Seinfeld. I think what you are referring to is you'd rather listen to that Kramer than the Jim Kramer, which is funny, and I too share that. Hopefully you're not talking about us, otherwise... WTF?
Senior Trump administration official says Trump administration aims to prioritize India as a key importer of America's natural resources. Also, this is kind of funny. Mexico President Claudia Sheinbaum says, if necessary, we will file a civil suit. Remember, we looked at this. We will file a civil suit against Google for Gulf of Mexico name change. Remember how that hasn't changed yet when we looked at Google?
It has now.
Oh, it has?
Yep.
Okay,
Absolutely.
So here comes a suit from Mexico. Wow.
Here you go.
PLRX just absolutely destroyed that bearish pattern. Just absolutely destroyed it.
Confirmed.
Oh, wow. The petty fights we are getting into these days, folks. It's hilarious.
More accurate name, to be honest.
Sure.
Look at PLRX. It did the thing.
Yeah.
You know what? Grats to anyone that was in this one. Missed this one again. Grats to anyone that traded this one. So 360, your high print here. Given the charting that we have done on this one, the VWAP bounce here would have definitely sold into this move. But yeah, PLRX, this did it. Wow, big volume stick. Oh, I got to turn my volume back on. Sorry about that. Big volume stick here, PLRX. See if it actually breaks back into that wedge. RAL continued here today. TEM, more highs. Upstart, more highs. Affirm, more highs. Man, oh man.
AMOD might. It's trying to recapture VWAP. It's got a seller to deal with at 440, but it's trying to turn around.
AMOD?
Yeah, and it looks like MBRX is finally starting to come down some more, but it's...
Smoke Tuna, what say you? Is AMOD done or no? Because a volume flow or a little bit of a volume expansion off of this level would actually be a really good setup. Look at Tesla. 358 now, Tesla. Well, EDSA is starting to lose its mojo, it looks like.
Let's say 375 in Tesla next stop, because That was about where it got to on January 2nd when we started the year. So we're coming up to the open of the year in Tesla. It's a little bit lower than 375, but it's about that area. I'd be watching resistance.
Take care of yourself, Jane. Robert, what do you want me to ask the 8 ball? We haven't gone to the 8 ball for a little bit. You want me to ask the 8 ball something? Let's see what the 8 ball's doing today. What do you want me to ask the 8 ball?
We should start bringing a rabbit foot on here and ask that.
I don't have one of those, honestly. Tell you what, this PLRX, the more I stare at the daily chart, I'll put it on so you guys can see what I'm seeing. I'm in my broker, I obviously have the 5 minute, but I also have, or the 1 minute, but I also have a daily next to it. And I'm sitting here looking at this stock and I'm looking at this daily chart. And I'm telling you guys, the more I look at this, the more I think we probably pop and do some stuff with this gap here. PLRX. It's up 30% here today. Wow.
Will Intel fall? Asked Learn with Moses. If it does, I would think that maybe it prints somewhere between 24.75 and 25 before we start to see that reversal.
Robert, if you want me to ask if we are going to close green, I mean, it looks like it. I guess a lot of things can change. Ask the Magic 8 ball. Here we go. This is what we'll ask. Ask the 8 ball if the S&P is going to post another 20% year. Good question. We will ask that here. World for everyone. Ryan, is there a volume indicator in Thinkorswim to add as a number somewhere? A volume indicator. Do you mean like how much stock has traded on the day? Like it's just its day volume? Is that what you're asking? If so, you can, on your watch list, you can add volume as a column. I do that. So like, for example, on my watch, I've got a watch list for my current account positions, my indices, and then my main watch list and futures. And on all of those, I've added the volume column so I can very quick at a glance see it. If you're looking to add just like the number to the top of the chart, I would Google ThinkScript code for daily volume and just add that through your ThinkScript editor, and that can plot it on the chart. I do that for market breadth. So I've got the different indices and their breadth being reported as a number. Let me know if that answers your question.
Bros. Yeah.
We
might have seen the same thing here.
I think we did. That's amazing. Well, anyway, pull back to this to the level that you had me draw here at 81.50. We're actually losing it right now.
Mm-hmm. And I think if we get some volume here in Intel, we might see that move up to where I just mentioned earlier. We did get to 24.83, so right in that range that I mentioned earlier where we could see some resistance, and sure enough, we did. Next visit up here, I don't know if it's going to break through or not, but it looks like it's trying to at least test it one more time.
Here, let me, World for Everyone. Let me show you something here real quick. Let's see what I can do. Window, SPY, tick chart. All right, World for Everyone. Eric, can you see my Thinkorswim? This is one of my trading windows in Thinkorswim. You see how at the top of my ES chart and the top of the SPY chart, I have these numbers that are just kind of printed here. This is my market breadth indicator. And this is basically, this is green if the market breadth is positive, and it's red if it's negative, and then the ratio is what it's giving me there. So you can also do this same thing with volume. So if you want to plot just the volume number in the upper right corner of a chart, you can use ThinkScript to do this. And you don't even have to code it yourself. I mean, you could ask ChatGPT if you wanted, but you can just Google and say, hey, give me a ThinkScript code that adds the volume or the relative volume or any other indicator maybe or data point that you want, and you can add it to the chart. I like this breath one. This one works the best for me. What happened here? Why do I have nothing? All right. Hang on a sec. I'm going to fix this. See, I knew that if I did something, I mess it up. There we go. Why is this? This is wrong. How did I screw this up so badly?
I do not know.
Me either, dude. Here we go. I'm just trying to help, and I end up screwing it up. ThinkScript really is great. You can actually do some really cool stuff. I was just writing some of these in ThinkScript yesterday. What were you writing, Fairchild? I might be interested in that. You guys are mentioning OKLO. That's been a mover here recently, too. OKLO. Oh, this is this is actually pulling back. What does the daily look like here? Not enough yet.
Yeah, this thing might come into the 20-day SMA. If not, I mean, 45 is the first level, but it's 20-day SMA is beneath that.
Rocket up almost 7% here, 6.5%. Isn't this tied to rates?
Well, it was. I don't know about now, because I think at this point it's tied to consumer affordability. And if people can't afford to buy homes or refinance homes, and this company may not do as well. But I don't know what is causing it to go up today. Maybe it's one of these 13 Gs.
Britt saying, random note, did you guys hear what Sam Altman recently said on some panel in Japan? He said that, first of all, I love that you asked the question and then you actually gave us some context here just in case we didn't. That's really helpful. He said that AI is going to be better at programming than any human coder on the planet. So I did see this. 13, I'd be curious to get your opinion on this with your wife being connected to this profession. My knee-jerk reaction is that as good as AI is going to get, you almost are going to need kind of humans to provide the correct guardrails on some of the coding. So while you might be able to eliminate some of like the low-level, easy type coding, I'm skeptical of its ability to replace all human coding. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think that you are going to see a lot of junior devs and kind of in the lower tier of development. They may end up getting replaced by AI, but you are going to still need developer trainers. You're going to see a lot more folks being having to work with AI. Like, it's just going to happen.
Yeah.
So the sooner you get on that level where you're able to work with AI and train it and collaborate with it and go back and forth, so that it's kind of like a counterpart or a component to your work that you do. I think you'll be okay. But to replace every single developer, I don't think that's realistic at this point.
Yeah, and this is kind of where we're going. Britt, this is a really good thought experiment. The way that I would look at this too, it said, one of you, Smoke Tuna said, 100% lower level programmers find another job. If you're worried about AI, what I would tell you is that, first of all, try not to worry. Just in general in life, try not to worry. But if you really want to try to prepare, just watch some YouTube videos on effective AI prompting and learn some of the different things like persona and context and tone and some of the things that the AI is looking for. Like 13 said, we're going to be working with AI. And so if you're worried about your job being replaced, I feel like if you're good at working with the AI tool, you're still going to be valuable. You're still going to be able to find something. And one of the things that you can do right off the bat is learn how prompting works and how, interacting with the tool and prompting it differently yields different results.
Yeah, and I totally agree with what Robert's saying. A lot of grunt coders out there on borrowed time. They're the ones that are going to feel the AI wrath more than anybody else. But like he's saying, system engineers, trainers for AI, the really high ups, the senior devs and architects. I have a hard time seeing AI ever replacing those.
Prompt engineers is a new career. Prompt engineers is a big one. And Nicole saying, don't worry about AI, learn it.
Yes.
I think you guys have absolutely the right mentality here. Whatever words you choose to use, this is the right mentality.
Don't be bottom feeders in this space. They will get crushed.
Yeah. I play around with AI just sometimes just for the hell of it, just for practice, frankly.
We have a big reversal coming in BBAI here, or it's happening now. It's trying to get back to VWAP. It's almost there. Don't know if we're going to break out or not, but we do have some curling happening in the MACD. So let's see if we can get this thing to go back over 10.
God, PLRX is continuing to go higher. That VWAP bounce, we are in the another leg up here. This deserves another register ring for anyone that was in PLRX.
RSA, you do bring up a good point about who would be filling those older architects when they retire. So we do have internships. That would be one way to go about it. Other people are going to have to kind of take the initiative and learn, on their own as a side side thing that they do in addition to their job. So, to your point, I think that, there's going to have to be some growth in there. But this is not my area of expertise. I would have to defer to somebody who's more in that developer space, has been working with companies for a while. I think they would be able to answer that question better than I could. Watch the movie Her with Joaquin Phoenix, where he falls in love with an AI.
Lynn and Randy, did you folks enjoy the hockey last night? I thought that Four Nations tournament is a really good idea. I think it's a hell of a lot better than the All-Star weekend. All-Star game really only works in baseball, in my opinion. And I think having these guys play for their country is really exciting. Thought the game last night was great. USA plays tonight. USA-Finland tonight. Let me know what you thought of that.
Is AMOD finished? Maybe. I think I would need to see a little bit more confirmation of a breakdown here. Let's say once it gets under 4, it might have a hard time recapturing it. So let's just see what happens if we lose 4. That would be my the thing to watch for there.
Learn with Moses. You were asking what the news was on Grail. That was right in here. Hang on. They're going to announce their fourth quarter results. First of all, this news was from yesterday. This was the 13th. And the news came in the morning. They confirmed their earnings report in the afternoon. But the news yesterday morning, Grail and Quest Diagnostics provide Grail's Gallery multi-cancer early detection test through the Quest Diagnostics test ordering system. So you're getting news here about a way to test for cancer in blood.
I'm just laughing at the comments that we got here. Smoke Tuna's talking about programming with Google for some time, and after he ran into a situation where he couldn't solve it and try it with AIs, he said, They said the AI he was using said, try it with some other AIs. So I think there's some job security there, as long as other AIs are saying, you go look and talk to another AI. It's like the saying is, go talk to another dev who might know. And then crocodile dumb me. I think I will start poisoning AI with inaccurate Wikipedia posts. Oh, to sabotage. So, Robert, you think we could be seeing like a lot of mid to upper level programmers starting at like maybe 200 to 500K a year? I mean, I know I'm not trying to say that's what you're saying, but it seems like we're going to see some really big salary changes with some of these more seasoned developers.
EDSA back down here at its VWAP for anyone that might be interested in another trade here. You're welcome, Learn with Moses. Daniel's asking, you guys use leverage? I personally don't. I mean, I guess technically I do if I'm trading options, right? But for the most part, no. I have a margin account and don't even really use it. I just basically use my own cash. I try not to get myself in trouble with too much leverage, Daniel.
EDSA losing that VWEP, that could be bad. If we don't recapture that soon, I think we're sitting the 65 EMA, which is down at 3. But man, that move when we went up to almost 450, that was the big move. We had a couple of nice movement after that, but folks, you guys absolutely slaughtered it on EDSA. Getting out when you needed to, that was great. Well done on your gains.
All right, we got just 2 minutes left here.
Oh, geez, it wasn't exciting as yesterday, but man, this time fly.
No, it wasn't like as action packed as yesterday, but you know what? It still wasn't a bad day. Still holding on to green. We did have the PPI come out where the market just went higher. So we're basically above the CPI pull level from yesterday. We're a point above that right now. And that 8150 level on bros again. Luke is saying, do you guys think margin is bad? I mean, there's this time. Yeah, it can be. There's a time and a place for margin. I tend not to use it just because I don't want to get myself in trouble. You know, I don't necessarily think it's bad. I think it's situational, is how I would put it.
Yeah,
pretty decent day, Robert, and it's not over. That's the key.
Daniel wants a farewell. Oh, all right, because I think it's time for me to jettison here.
Well, it's time to actually end the show, so good times. Daniel, can you get a farewell? Farewell, Daniel. Have a great one.
Exit salutations.
But yeah, go ahead, 13.
Oh man, it was for as dry as it was today, we had some pretty good movers. Great trading, folks. Sounds like you guys did really well. Sideshow, best day you had this month. Glad to hear it.
Yeah, me too.
Let's come back here tomorrow. We got some of those big economic reports out of the way. Let's find out what Friday holds for us, and if we got some movers on our docket, we'll get them traded, folks. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everybody.
Take care, 13. I am going to second his call. Let's have a fun Friday tomorrow. Don't forget, we're going to have Mark Petrino in the morning. You guys really like that.